Comrades, good morning. I trust you are well. We're going to start with the second day of the policy conference. The date is the 6th of April, 2025. The time is 9:45. We should have started at 9, so we are currently running late, so we just need to start in the interest of time. I want to open and welcome everyone this morning for our second day. We plan to finish early today. We will not have a long session because we've actually covered most of the policy inputs yesterday. So the second item, we are going to start with a recap from the previous day. So I'm going to ask the Secretary General, Comrade William Ledwaba, to come up and just please for 15 minutes give us a recap. After that, we are going to go into the proposed policy amendments. So we're going to flight the Constitution and go through it page by page and make sure that we've captured all the provincial inputs so that when the drafting team goes after this, they are able to update all the inputs that came. When we are done with that, we are going to go to the guidelines of the third National General Conference, which takes place by the end of May. And then we close for the day. So it's a short day. We hope we can cover everything, get through it quite quickly. SG, can you please come and give us a recap of yesterday? Thank you very much.
Amandla, comrade. Actually, you're still sleeping. So. Was I not invited to yesterday's party? God, I'm the only one who's up here. Retoto. So, comrade, thank you so much. And thank you to also those who managed to wake up and be on a little bit on time, but we are late. Almost 1 hour behind. So we need to sort of speed up our work for the day. With regard to yesterday's, yes, there's my accreditation report ensuring that this setting is in line with the Constitution. So that was done. We also went through some of the key highlights where the President gave us an address in terms of giving us the state of the sector. Comrades, you also went out, before that, there were policy inputs that the provinces have submitted to the content committee, and the chair actually outlined those inputs in front of everyone. And as far as I remember, all the provinces were satisfied with the inputs that were read yesterday. And then we went into breakaway sessions. In those breakaway sessions, comrade, we discussed a couple of things, and I'm very impressed with the level of engagement. The whole 2 hours, the session that I was chairing, comrade, it was even painful for sitting that long, but the engagement made me, and they gave me confidence to continue with the discussions. So I must thank you for engaging, for being there, for ensuring that you don't cheat the process. You actually represent your provinces very well and stick it out all the way until the whole 2 hours that was allocated to those sessions. So give yourself a round of applause for that, comrades. So within the breakaway sessions, comrade, there was a session regarding the institutional arrangements and governance, which was chaired by Pathways Kwama, and the government policy, which was chaired by the national chairperson, and then the policy position on digital economy, which was chaired by the Secretary General. Comrades, the key highlights in those sessions, and I'll start with the institutional arrangements. The comrades deliberated, and adopt. It was more about, let's look at the current state of the organization, and how do we look at the future as well. There were inputs such as establishing an advisory committee, which will be structured by veterans, which are the founding fathers of this organization. So this has been 10 years almost, if I'm not mistaken, DSG. How many years are we now? 8 years. Yes, yes. I'm 2 years. Yeah, but we're almost in 10-year anniversary. So obviously we have people who have founded this organization, and that's where that advisory structure come from. There were also inputs regarding ensuring that the organization, it's in line with actually sustaining itself. And that's where the Office of the Treasurer General had recommendation to give them the powers to ultimately have a main account, which is a bank account that will sustain this organization. That's key, comrades. Why? It's a struggle in this organization. It's been a struggle to raise resources, to get people into conferences, to maintain provinces, right, to run programs. You know, those of you who are treasurer generals, so who are provincial treasurers, who are provincial treasurers and secretaries, you definitely understand the challenges there. Comrades, there was also a key input with regard to a paid membership. So after 20th conference, sorry, the 20th May conference, and our government policies, comrades, there were key inputs as well from there off with regard to how do we cope with the current challenges that are facing the sector, such as the current government entities, SOEs, right? How does PBICT align itself with those to ensure that our members survive and ultimately compete in those challenging platforms? And there were discussions around the new spectrum, that it's an innovation spectrum, in terms of how do we now contribute into that and actually enable our members to start gaining opportunities from there. There were also key highlights with regard to way leaves. This is those who are in the space of the internet for all, right? And we deliberated that, but obviously it was off camera. I don't want to go further into giving away our secrets to those who may be able to maybe to steal it. Comrades, there were also discussions with regard to the ICT spent. I think it was Comrade Vic who was presenting that, in terms of how many of that ICT spend belongs to you SMMEs. I think he mentioned something around 30 billion, if I'm not mistaken. But those were the questions that were raised to say, from government policy perspective, how do we ensure that we have programs that can align ourselves with participating in that economy? And then lastly, there was also, with regard to the policies and amendment that was submitted by the provinces. So those were highlighted in full to say, this is what this are your submissions from the provinces. Are you happy? Are you not happy? They were presented by the national chair. Track 3, we dealt with the policy position on the digital economy. Comrades, that also dealt highly on a high level with regard to PBICT policy on digital economy. What are we doing in the artificial intelligence space? And there was a lot of programs that were recommended, such as artificial intelligence first. So PBICT to adopt such a program so that we are now preparing ourselves for the future. We understand that artificial intelligence is used widely, whether you are a student, whether you are a mother, whether you have your own company. Even PBICT itself need to use artificial intelligence internally to make their decisions and be intelligent in their decision making. Comrades, there were also some digital frameworks that were recommended first, meaning that do not jump into innovating in the spaces that you are not even in. Look at the spaces where you are currently in. If you are a pastor, those of you who are pastors, I think Sabata and chair of KZN, the use case there was, how are your congregants transacting? It's a lot of money in charges, right? So those grassroots innovation, and that's where the grassroots economy came into this place. And then there was also the drone technology, 3D printing, and obviously those were looking into the gaps that are currently existing. How do we bridge that gap, right? Those are highly regulated institutions. CAA, as you know, ATNS, those of you who are operating drones, you have the inability to fly your drone a certain level. You need high requirements from licensing perspective to operate a drone. Whether you're in the mining sector, Samata, whether you are monitoring your solar farms. Someone also mentioned that they're using drones for car wash, right? So PBICT need to take the fight heads-on into your ATNS to enable regulation so that entrepreneurs are able to. Larry, you are doing your site surveying using drones. What happened? It goes higher than it's supposed to be. Like, are you protected? So those are the things, comrades. I'm very impressed. These are very intelligent inputs, and I can tell you no one else is having them except where you are today. So consider yourself lucky. In closure, comrades, I want to thank you. I want to thank your commitment. I know you come from far, some of you, and the mere fact that you felt that this is the place and the only place where you need to be able to shape this ICT industry. Big things are coming, I can tell you for a fact. You know what's happening in the United States with your Elon Musk and the big tech industries. They came together, supported Donald Trump. So it's about time that we also look into that today. What's our future looking like? How are we going to compete with the likes of those? So thank you so much, comrades. Ke a le leboga.
All right, thank you very much, SG, for that recap. We're going to go into the proposed policy amendments. I've posted the last constitution and the disciplinary policy on the NEC group. So the idea is that we're going to go page by page, try and be very quick, just recap all the inputs that came, and then close it that way so that at least we have a view of the constitutional changes that were proposed yesterday. So I don't know, I've posted in the NEC group, if the chairpersons can check it there and send it to the members that are here with us, because I don't think the projector works. So there's no way for me to project there. So I need all of you to follow with me on your devices as I'm going through it. And then I'm going to try and be very quick with it and just try and, make notes about where and what we needed to change. And once we're done with that, we go to the guidelines of the NGC, and then we should be done for the day. I want to finish early for those traveling so that everyone just makes it home safely and in the day. So, conference delegates, the chairpersons who are here, you need to send it to the delegates here. I'm ready to post it in the groups because that's just for everyone. I just need it to be with the delegates here today. So if every province can help me with that, just send it to your delegates that are here on their phones. So everyone can just take out their phones and follow with me on their devices. I'll need an indication, the constitution and the disciplinary policy. Some provinces told me that they need the disciplinary policy, they need those structures, but it was there. It could be that it wasn't sent. It's in the NEC group there. Now. Refresh your Wi-Fi there. The NEC. Yeah. The phone. Can you please send it? You saw it. You're not on the NEC. Limpopo. Who's gonna send it to? I can never say your name. What can I call you? It's a long name. I know your name. Comrade Tico. Yeah, Comrade Tico. You need to, can someone send it to him, please, to send to his members there. But all of you need to have it on your devices or laptops. I see Comrade Gift's got his laptop out. Comrade Toto's got his laptop. But your Nopala is there. She'll handle it. So what are you doing with your laptop? I thought you're not posting there. Okay. Here's a plug here. Your phone is broken, like it's malfunctioning. KZN, you have the draft. Che, KZN, send it. Northern Cape. Where's your phone? What? Huh? Hey, Northern Cape is having phone drama. Chair's phone don't work. Nopala's phone broken. Other delegates' phone not there. Comrade Toto, where's your phone? Oh, you are not on the NEC group. Oh, you're like collapsing. Right. Let's start. I'm gonna try and work on the inputs plus the document. So please bear with me here and there. Is Gauteng here yet? Where?
Let's just go through the constitution page by page. From the first.
Unfortunately.
Technology is a problem for us.
Yeah, no. Let me send it to you. Gift and Tico.
Dennis,
I already sent it to Tico.
isn't the
Gift.
constitution on the website?
You got it now? Sure.
Yeah, go to the website and download it from there. It's a constitution itself. It's on the website. It's on the website.
I'm on page 1. We start with the preamble. There's there were inputs made about the character from Eastern Cape. I know Free State touched on the definitions, so I'll add that. I'll add definitions of mobilizers, SMEs, youth, Ubuntu. I'll add that thing about the character story. Eastern Cape mentioned it. It will come in here. But it's fine, I will.
Let's ask if there's inputs on the first page on the preamble.
It's gonna take long. They're gonna read this thing. Right. Right, I'm on the first page, comrades. Yeah, you can come in. It's a working meeting.
Comrades, you did have your provincial engagements and you did what we are doing now. So we're assuming that you are very much aware of the Constitution. On the preamble, comrades, it's clear that we have not read the Constitution, because all the inputs that came from provinces just tells me that you didn't read the Constitution. We just repeated ourselves. The preamble tells you exactly that we are aware that there is a struggle, and we emphasize that we are non-racial, that there was an apartheid regime, that it affected black people. And noting that the black people in this country is a particular designated group, with Africans in particular. Having realized that there's a need for the radical economic transformation, where in a country where government parastatals and municipalities have shut the doors for us as black people, we are convinced that this country has a potential to use technology to lead in the country as a producer of the best technology, and therefore we establish ourselves as the PBICT. So which means we haven't read the Constitution, comrades. Is there any changes or anyone that wants to, or has the environment changed that requires us to alter the Constitution on that? The status quo in the country is still the same. On the definitions, Chair, I think you said you're going to add the definitions. On the definitions, Chair, in the last conversation we had, we said we need to add the ceiling, the terms of the ceiling. And also there I did realize that there was we have the NWC, but we don't have the definition for the PWC. So all those terms, Chair, I think those that are there. And I think because there's a confusion also, Chair, there was a questions on the NDR. I think we need to define what is the NDR, the way that we see it and understand it. So the definitions, Chair, I think it's work.
We remove this so we are updated. There's radical transformation, there's communism.
No, I think
NDR, I should just add it.
we just add the NDR in there. The name and the logo, comrades, you want to change it from black to...
Business.
I'm just trying again. Okay, Talita, I'll remember you defeated me.
There's someone,
The one that
there's someone calling us the Black Progressive Business ICT Forum.
serious.
When they apply for these boards and stuff, they don't want to say Progressive Blacks, so they say Progressive Business
Wow.
ICT Forum. I saw it on somewhere. I was reading someone's CV that I got. They
Wow.
asked me, "Is this your comrade?" So I'm like, "Let me see." When I checked the reference letter, they had used the PBICT letterhead and everything, but they didn't say Progressive Blacks. They said Progressive Business Forum. No, you can't say two the way Thomas.
Yeah, comrades, I think that then that's fine. The location, the head office of the PBICT currently is where we are now. No, you don't know, got a PBICT office upstairs. There's a PBICT office upstairs here. Yeah, it's the head office of PBICT. Comrades, the vision
We're on page 5.
on page 5, the vision of the organization is where we see ourselves in the future, living in a country where the economy, the digital economy, belongs to black people, Africans in particular. And in South Africa, we're at the stage where we are the largest producer of technology in the world, more than we are a consumer. The mission, comrades, is very critical. We're still breaking down gatekeepers, challenging systems that deprive our people opportunities, and we support systems that promote transformation. Are we changing from that? Okay. The character, Chair, as you said, of the PBICT, firstly, is that are we changing our stance of being progressive? Now, I want us to go through that, and I need someone to read that, because if I read it, I don't want to say like I'm saying, Chair, can you read it for us?
Yeah, so I'm on page 5, 3.3.1. The PBICT is a progressive organization which aligns itself to the revolution, which aims to address the imbalances of the past, and one which strives to ensure equity through radical economic transformation.
So, Chair, comrades, there was a whole debate about alignment to political parties and all of those things. Are we saying we want to amend this? No. Are we amending 3.1? No. Okay. So we mustn't have...
Comrade Lens,
I wish we could.
you?
We mustn't align ourselves to the revolution.
What do you suggest?
I think the wording
Do
maybe.
like the PBICT guy do, just like business.
So what would you change with the wording?
No, comrade, we don't operate like that.
We are fine. We're doing
Okay, so comrades, we're fine with that. The PBICT is non-racial. I wish we could change it. We focus on STEMI and show policies. Yeah, I think that one is straightforward, comrades. We've read it. Talks non-racial.
Yeah.
Now, comrade, what is critical here, Comrade Sabata, is the word that says we are a unitary organization. I think, Chair, on the definitions, can we highlight it in red? It's one of the definitions that we need to put in there. I'm hoping, comrades, we all understand what unitary means. As doesn't mean that you are federal, so you can't have a province deciding to align itself with a particular thing, the other one's aligning itself with it's unitary. So otherwise, what goes on top is at the bottom. So unitary organization, comrades. So provinces exist at the behest and at the advice and the leadership of national at all times. The highest decision making is the NEC, and the higher decision making power of that is the NGC and then the national conference. The purpose of the PBICT, this is very critical, comrades, because it changes the term where we are. This is one of the things that changed in the last conference. We were in 4IR, we had just come from lockdown, 3.4, Chair. We had come from lockdown, and it led to us being where we are today. If you look there, you got 4IR STEMI. That is why we changed. So this term of office was about 4IR and was about STEMI. What is the next term of office going to be about? We have to come out from this. When I spoke about the policy positions that are critical, that direct the organization, this is one of them.
Changing the future.
Am I free to make a proposal? The digital economy. The digital economy. Because we focused on STEMI, which means everyone went crazy and started doing robotics and all those. Now we understand it. So the next thing is, how do we make money from the knowledge that we have of STEMI? So now to make money is the digital economy. So our next focus, the leadership that will be taking over, will only be dealing with money in PBICT. How do we make money? This organization is only going to strive from that. If we're having floods and people are dying, we're going to say, how do we make money? We get drones, we go there, we work with the national space stations, we go and look for bodies and all those things, we invoice government, we make money. Digital economy, comrades, which therefore means that the establishment of PBICT, comrades, that one is straightforward because it just sets us in terms of what is our founding provision, which doesn't change. The aims and objectives of the PBICT, comrades, at this time and this trajectory where we are, we can either add new objectives. I would recommend that we add an objective about making money and the digital economy to the scribes. Can the House support that? That on the objectives, we need to have that. Chair, I would like us to have objectives that are more measurable. If we can allow the architects of our constitution and give them the leverage of making more performance driven, because if we're saying how do we make money, so we should be looking and saying that the objective of the PBICT number one is to increase the number of millionaires that are black and in the sector. That's the sort of things we're going to say, right? We're going to increase the number of blacks that are benefiting from the annual ICT spend of government. We increase the membership of PBICT. That's such, comrades. It must have either you increase, you promote, blah, blah, blah. You strengthen governance by ensuring that all the structures are up. You do this. It must be more performance driven. Right? Are we together, comrades? So the same objectives, but there must be more, because now we are saying that we're moving to an organization that is focusing on something, then let it be performance driven in that way, so we can then measure our outputs accordingly. And then the activities of the PBICT, comrades, in key, if you look at the first words, we engage, we organize, we influence, we promote, we bridge, we grow, we create, we establish, we encourage. That, comrades, those are the activities of the PBICT. At any given time where we are, that's exactly what we're doing. We are either engaging, and that's stakeholders or whoever. Activities. 4.2.1, comrades, we're on activities now.
Page 8.
Yes, I want you to read the first word of each and every one of that sentence. The architects of this constitution we're looking at were very wise people. So you can see there. And that tells us what we should be doing. Are we keeping that? Comrades, we're keeping that, right? Okay. Then, comrades, we come to the qualification of members. I think here to the scribes, Chair, what we are saying is we are now defining a member in good standing. And that a member in good standing, we are no longer confused about it, but it is a person that pays their membership subscription. And their subscription is up to date. Because if we agree and say that, for example, that a standard membership of the Pbict is 25 Rand a month, just as an example, it means that you must pay 25 Rand 12 times. If you miss one payment, then you're not a member in good standing. And if you get elected into the PEC, your membership is 50 Rand per month. Then it must be 50 Rand. And you're a member of the Pbict in good standing. If you're in the NEC, it's 100 Rand a month. We were talking about bank accounts, which we'll see later on. So PEC contributions must go into the PEC bank account, sub-account. NEC must go into the NEC, because one of the things, Chair, that was a challenge, is that on the first bank accounts, when provinces had accounts, it was under our names. The next thing, we're in ITC, you don't know what's happening, you've got banks calling you because there's no money going in, and becomes just problematic for the people that are on the document of the organization. So it just became a problem. So what we are saying here is, Chair, from what I understood, the only thing that changed on membership, which is very good, is exactly that. I would also advise the conference, because many times you said membership must be paid, and it was given to the NEC to do that, but the NEC never came up with the fee and never enforced it. So in the Constitution, let us enshrine it, Chair, and propose. If we say members must pay, how much must they pay? It must be in the Constitution once and for all.
I just want to, because I've raised the point, I just want to bring in how it should go, so that the DSG can understand, because it wasn't there. Every one of us are allocated a number when we have joined Pbict. That number is connected to your name, and that is how we determine are you a paid-up member with regards to your good standing. Your number is your reference number in the bank account. I think that will work much easier. Each member is having his membership number. So that is how you can just ensure that the thing is rolled out.
All right, thank you. So, comrades, 5.2.4 there's a proposal to amend 5.2.4 to.
Sorry, Press, before you go there.
Yes.
So this issue of member in good standing, when you get the entire 5.1 to 5.18, it also speaks to some criteria. It's like 5.19 summarizes that. It says a member in good standing shall refer to a member who in addition and above of those criteria, which include being active. So what happens if I'm a paid member? Like if we're saying a member in good standing is just a paid member, then what if I'm not active?
It's just something that is not
No. I'm saying the definition of a member in good standing, according to this amendment, is that you are a paid member. But now, these subsections, they are actually over and above.
Yes.
You hear what I'm saying? So we need to be clear in terms of, we can't say you are a member in good standing, but you must still be, or if you are not active or not active. So we need to clarify it to say, member in good standing is not only a paid member.
Yes.
However, you still need to participate in WhatsApp groups, in Pbict activities, over and above. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying, because if we open it and close it like that, it can cause issues. I mean, those of you who are in other organizations, you will know that once you pay that 10 Rand, you are a member in school in good standing, finish and start. You don't have to attend a meeting, you don't have to even contribute anything in the organization. So I don't know, we need to finish it up so that it's very clear.
So, yeah,
So-
so we're saying here, a member who has paid their membership fees, as in 5.1.3 that I've added, in addition to the above mentioned. qualifications. This is funny. It reads funny. Is an active participant in activities, discussion groups, attends events, contactable via email, cell phone, and landline. I should actually remove that. Contactable via email and cell phone. I'll just fix grammar here. Oh, no, there's no address. So he's saying in
So,
addition to paying, you must also do.
Yes. So, comrades, basically what Bala is saying is 5.1.9 stands. We add that you must be a member, you must be paid. Your subscription must be paid up.
Okay, but, okay. Also again here, there must be a difference between members and leaders, because the active can only propose for people who aspire to be leaders. We have the members that will be just members. We can't say all the 8,000 members or 15,000 members we have. They must be active. So some, they will remain our member. They might not be taking part of the activities, but when you're aspiring for leadership, that's where you must be active.
We differentiate.
Yes, there must be members, there must be leaders.
Comrade Ndu, you come in?
In any organization, a member is expected to be active. It's either you're in leadership position, you're a backbencher, you arrived yesterday. What is the activity of a member? If I call meetings, all members must come. If there's a problem in system, all members must come. If there is something that a member must do, you must come. I would rather not even take your money if you are not active. We are not going to build an organization of funders. If I call a program chair, if you're a member of Pbict, you must be there. And we need to be strict. We have WhatsApp group that got 200 members. But we have a program, only 20 people come to attend it. So they will say, I'm a member, I've paid my 50 rand. But are you not contributing with your activity in the organization too? So all these WhatsApp groups, if Pbict want to live in the next 10 years, all these WhatsApp groups must be audited, remove all these people that are dysfunctional. But rather have 20 members in the province and active members. We have 150 members, they are not participating in programs of Pbict. You call a program as a chair, only 4 people come there. We will have to include it. If you're an active member, you're paying member, the whole thing that HC is saying that. If you are not active as a member, you must not even accept the money. Just go be a funder, fund the organization. You're sending all the things in WhatsApp group, your stories and all that thing. But when we call formal meetings of the organization, you're not there. You're not an active member. You're just sitting there and giving us your money. You might not even take that money. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this goes back to our discussion yesterday on the side we were having, Press, about would you rather have 10 active members in a province than 120 of them, that when you post on the group, no one responds? Are we saying that we are going to remain a numbers-based organization, or we are changing now to a capacity-based organization where those 10 members are the ones contributing? I've got many members, by the way, especially in Northern Cape. They're not interested in necessarily membership, but when you ask them to support something, they'll do it. Do we then say that's not important either? So I think we have to perhaps define or decide how we're going to move on that, because it leads to the discussions yesterday. If we're saying in the province, there's only 5 active members, but those 5 active members are managing to pull off programs, they do this, they do that, it then gives us to the next question, Press, about conferences like this. Are we saying that we just bring delegates here to sit for 2 days and look at us and just sit here? Or can we bring 15 members and we chart the way forward for the organization? And that is the discussion me and TG were having, that are you now saying there's capacity versus numbers? And if we're saying we're moving away from a numbers organization, then it might mean you perhaps must change the whole way we mobilize ourselves, because you'd rather go with 5 members who are all contributing. They are all there. They come to every meeting. You can go to them to any meeting. They are the ones also fundraising. You are able to do programs for schools, for whatever else, because the members don't pitch. They're not interested. Even the opportunities you are sharing in some provinces, you post it, they don't respond. Now, what do you do with that? So perhaps that's also a decision that the conference
Comrades,
will
can I
make.
just do a quick check here, quickly? Stace, are you on social media? How many friends do you have? Or followers, whatever it is you follow, you call that thing. Quickly, number.
Less than a K, I think I'm about.
Do you know all of them? Each and every one, all 1,000 of them.
Not even about them, maybe 600, I know them.
Okay, that is good. Mpatisai, you come from advertising. When you put up a billboard on the N3 and there's 1,000 cars that pass, do you know all of those people? No. You don't know them?
See the numbers.
Okay, no pal. When you're going submitting into parliament, do you say that you've got 100 members or do you say that you've got 8,000 members in order for them to give impact, right? So discussion closed, comrades. There's nothing that's going to change. Right. Anything else, comrades? We move on, eh? Rights and benefits.
0.1.5. The payment of the membership fee was already there. It was there, but it's just not
Yeah, but
implemented.
now we're going to enforce it and put it.
So I'm going to leave it as 5.1.5. We don't have to change anything except the last provision that a member in good standing.
As a paid
Is
member. On
against someone.
5.1.9, we have to put that it's a that it's a member. It's
the
a paid
membership
membership.
in full. Yeah.
It's a paid membership. Those members that are paid, then Comrade Umtu, we then have to come here on the benefits. This is where we define the activism and the expectation of a member that pays. That's a member that, when the chairperson calls a meeting, must come to the meeting. And if that person misses 3 meetings, then they lose their membership in good standing. That is where we now need to define. Now we are talking about activists now. And those activists, because remember, once you're a member in good standing, now you're an activist, which means that you change your form for just being a supporter or you're passionate about the organization. Now, the thing that we missed is the behavior of the members now in good standing. That's the part now that we didn't have. So
So we're saying you pay, but then you miss 3 meetings and we throw you out anyway.
now those members that pay, because remember, you attract people and you bring them to your organization.
Press, it's not gonna work.
No,
No, press. I don't
I'm going to come back again. Comrades, comrades, come and do. Comrade do. Let me explain. Let me explain something. Let me explain something, comrades. Right. Comrade Mtu, are you a comrade? Okay. Is Comrade Sabata a comrade? Why is he a comrade? You see, the term comrade, we use it loosely. Not everyone in the ANC is a comrade. You can't join the ANC today. A person that joins the ANC today, is that person a comrade? That person is not a comrade.
The volunteer.
Is not a comrade. Right? So when you're walking on the streets there and you see this organization and you're excited about it, you like how they're talking, you come closer. And then you say, hey, this organization is interesting. Right? And then they call a big meeting in the stadium and you go there, they give you a free t-shirt, you haven't joined as a member. What are you? You're a supporter. You're supporting that organization. Right? And then this organization says, hey, there's this person that keeps on coming here and says, hey, you know what? We need people that are going to be marshals. No? Now you can start getting given, can you come and do this? Then they give you KFC and a loaf of bread or whatever, you drink Coke, right? You're a volunteer. You see where I'm getting at? Then someone comes to you, Comrade Mtu, and says, it's the third time I'm seeing you here and I've seen you as a marshal. You see, I think I should recruit you. If you join the ANC like this is the membership and this is our constitution and that, then that person joins the ANC. That person is a member of the ANC. He's not a comrade. That person is not a comrade. And then when they are a member in the organization, you then give them a task to say, here is a task that we are giving you to go and do 1, 2, 3, 4. You go and do that task, you come back, you give feedback. I have done this and this and this and this. Then you give that person another task and another task. That person is an activist. There's activities that person is participating in that they are doing for the organization. That person is an activist, right? Then that person, you then entrust them and say, I think you'll make a good branch secretary. When you are given that task and that responsibility, you are then told that you need to make sure that BGM said you're recruiting members, you're growing the ANC, you're participating in elections, which is our main thing, and to win the ward. And to win the ward, here's 1 million rand, we have to win this ward. Here are the resources, this is what you need to do, 1, 2, 3, 4. You start entrusting that person with organizational responsibilities. And that person does and implements those things as they are. That person then is a comrade. That's the only person that's a comrade. I now start calling you comrade. Because I know that for this organization, you will die for it. I know that if I turn my back, you are my comrade. You and I are both believing in this thing. And that is the same principle and the same thing that I'm trying to explain with Pbict. That once you are a member and you have paid, that person, Comrade Jumtu, are the people that we give activities to. We are having a conference, Comrade Sabata. I need you to go and pick up people in this place to come here. Correct? And once those people and those activities are there and you see that these are people that you can believe in, no matter what, then those are the people that you now come in and say that when we're coming to say we're having an EPJM, you say, no, there's a person like this that has been working 1, 2, 3, 4, that I believe can come through. Now it goes back to the eye of the needle, Comrade Mtu. Are you together? Are we together? It's just that we use the term loosely. So what I'm saying is missing in this constitution is the element that this conference needs to architect or to structure or design, where we are separating those members to say that, Comrade Tabata, once you come into this realm and you are a paid member, your activism is therefore what we need you to contribute at this level. And once you have done those activities and you've been deployed and you have done what you are told as an organization, you now qualify to be a leader in the organization, to be given responsibility. So leaders should be identified, like we said yesterday, through an eye of the needle, based on the activities and your activism. That's what I'm trying to say, Comrade Mtu. You were saying? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Press. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
So my second add then is that the word active participant is not absolute. Meaning that a certain member cannot be held into certain status and say, you are not active. You want to be elected in a position, yeah, because you never comment in WhatsApp group. What the president is saying, that participant comes in, if we come and ask, they say, Victor, what can you have that UFS? We need to engage somebody in the at UFS. Are you able to link us? The mere fact that you are able to connect Pbict means it qualifies you as an activity. So if we don't reach out to you, don't worry, you're still an active member until we come to you. So that's what I'm saying. Then it's not absolute. Let's not, then next time, say in parties, in Pumalanga, it's quiet, you're not active. Because we haven't reached out to you for certain services that we require from you. I don't know if maybe that makes sense, because I'm happy with that explanation. Members must not be victimized next time. To say you are not active in the WhatsApp group, you don't chat, you don't reply to my emails.
I'm reading it.
Yeah.
I'm reading it.
Yeah.
See what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Well, I'm reading it. I'm actors.
So yeah, we are like friends.
No, thank you. Yeah, mine is to say our organization is very structured, well structured. If all the mobilizers, because we can't sit here and talk about members that are not active. If they are students, there's a student movie. They need to make sure they get their people active in the organization, whichever way. So I don't think it's I mean, I don't see it as an issue. if all these departments, all these mobilizers, women, when we have something we want to see women, we'll ask the women mobilizer, where are the women? Where are the students? Where is the youth? Where are the professionals? So I think we, especially provinces, we need to check that up and make sure all these offices are not there because they are there. When we have something that we need to do, we need students. If we need 20 students, the student mobilizer must make sure 20 students are there for that program, and the women must be there, and everyone else. Thank you very much.
Comrade Toto at the back, then Comrade Talita, and Comrade Lens.
The issue of membership must also add to the number of activities that are done within a particular period. I think we need to add to that, so that an issue that SG is raising about maybe a dominant mentality kind of membership can also be addressed quicker, sooner than later.
Okay. Comrade Talita.
I think with our definitions, we need to include this, what Presef explained. So whenever someone
Activism, sorry.
whenever someone read that point, he can refer to the definitions of a comrade, a volunteer, a supporter, activist, or whatsoever, so that in future there won't be the same confusion with regards to what is an active member or what is a comrade. Thank you.
Comrade Lens.
Mine is more of a question, because sometimes you could get dormant members. Then you don't know what that dormant is exactly. It could be a person observing, and that person could be the most passionate person in the room. So you do need passionate people like Usis, and you could take that passion and convert it into the type of character, activist. Is that the word? Yeah. So I wanted to ask also, is there some sort of program that upskills new members, or some sort of incubation program to give the new members skills so that they are able to execute whatever it is that they need to execute? It's a question, sorry. And if there isn't, how can we come up with some sort of program that will say, okay, I see Ubanbani has got the potential to do this and that and that and that. We just need to sharpen her here and there.
I hear. I also heard I wanted to respond on the inputs as I was listening after Comrade Review. And this is just me. Please don't don't think I'm disagreeing. I'm just making a side note that I just have a problem with us using a liberation movement as the basis of how we mobilize ourselves as professionals. Because you have provinces here that don't have professionals there, don't understand the sector. We discussed yesterday, lots of acts, we discussed very intricate things. Some of the members couldn't participate. We are saying to ourselves, we are ICT organization. There, Comrade Luva was presenting a very technical thing about spectrum bands and ICASA regulation, and I'm worried that us following the numbers-based approach, using our background and history as politicians, will have a detrimental effect on the sustainability of quality in this organization. Because some professionals don't want to be organized that way. They don't want that. They don't like it. Provinces have told us here in the inputs, and I'm going according to what I'm receiving, that they don't like the nuances towards that. They want to be treated a bit differently. In some provinces, there are AGMs that have happened. There's no ICT people there. There's no people from universities there. There's no CIOs in those memberships. There's no people that are really interested to, like Comrade Lens is explaining, to learn things. You wonder then, are they there just because they've got nothing to do? And if we are saying that we're opening up and it's just a take for all and a give for all organization where we have a revolutionary approach in the sense of you just join, there's numbers, there's your 30 people. You don't know where those people come from. You've taken them from the street there, you've called them from wherever. That's why you don't get responses, because they don't understand hackathons. What does a person that has not had any consciousness understand about a hackathon? That's why you don't get a response. That's why when we call a thing to input on ICASA, you don't get a response, because they have no idea what you're doing. They have no idea what this thing is about. Even the young people, are they just here because they love the press?
Yeah.
Yes. Some people here are just here because they love Leon. Some people here, I think a lot of us here are here because we love this man next to us here. But we have no idea what, and that's why he gets frustrated with all of us. Because he wants to go here, but he's brought in people that are not with him there. And then he thinks through what we've been taught in the movement, that we can alight consciousness using these PGCs and conferences, and we come and bombard you guys with ICT stuff, and we go in and we discuss CETA and we want to disband CETA, and then we expect that the memberships should align, and then we leave you guys after this and we expect you to be where we are. So my problem comes exactly there. Are we attracting the correct quality leadership that we need for the future when we step down out of this organization? When the love for Leon is gone, he's no longer here. Perez has got other things to do. If he's still his second term, he's not coming back, this man here. Not coming back. Your next press, are you going to love him this much to attend the PGC? Yes. Your next press. And this is my issue that I'm saying is how we organize. We really, I started because Victor's my friend. I joined Pbict because this guy's my friend. I didn't know this thing, and I'm now in the ISP. But what I'm saying is, I caught up to it. But the majority of members don't get there. So you see, Larry, we know each other through where we grew up. We grew up in the same hood. That's how we know each other. Larry, Victor, me. You know, we grew up together. And that's why we were friends, and we can support each other as friends. And if I tell Larry today, hey, Larry, I think this thing is going to work for me, man, he'll say, I'm your bro, I'll support you, you know. Prez, make you just do things for him. Hey, he sends you, he doesn't answer your calls, but you must answer his, and then he needs you for stuff, and you must, you know. So, but he's got that thing, and he comes in when it is needed. When the conditions are necessary, Prez will step in at some point in your life. You don't know when it is, but it will be there. You know. And you deliver. Comrade TG is a nice guy, always helps us. This leadership is living here. Then I'm worried that you don't have the input from the press about how you mobilized in the movement. And you guys have to figure this thing out. And we've established no other basis for members. And you guys will come into a PGC, and there'll be no one here that is in the sector. No one can tell you about these things. No one can tell you. So I fear that us using, especially the ANC, to decide how this is going to structure us creates a very big problem. And you'll have members in a PEC that can't even, they don't know what they're doing there. They're just there, and they want us to tell them. That's why they say, we need, National must incubate us, National must teach us. Because really, they're just here for this. So that's just my thinking in the back of my mind that I wanted to see. Do we have a, like you're saying, TG, is there terms of reference to say how you structure a PEC, what is needed? Yesterday I asked, who here works at a municipality? There we were discussing bylaws. There was no one here that could tell us, hey guys, this is how this thing works. Who's here works at CETA? The CETA guys don't want to come to the meetings because they're scared of how we talk. But can we on the side say, hey, Pbict wants this thing? We can't do that, we've done it. So I'm just worried, I'm just there, comrades, I'm trying to. And Gauteng collapsed because we allowed a political organization to infiltrate that leadership there. And we stood back as National, we did nothing. And me, I'm honest about that, that's our failure. The National NEC collapsed Gauteng because there was a CETA event and a political structure disrupted that event and caused fighting there. We banned at CETA National because of that event. That's actually our drama with CETA. We are banned because of that event. National sat back. National sat back and allowed that to happen. We didn't call them to order. And you see there they're starting again. They're just doing the same things. And can you see my problem, Comrade Talita? No, but exactly. Can you see the sector demands?
Amandla.
Yes.
Amandla.
Comrades,
The sector demands decorum.
Comrade Chair, let me, comrades,
anyway, Fred.
let me clear the cloud and the confusion about professionalism in the ICT sector. We have an engineer here, no? Is there a professional recognized body for engineers in the country and in the world? Chair, you are from legal, right?
Yes.
Now, in law, is there a professional body that you must register with?
Yes.
Doctors, is there a professional body that they must register with? Yes. Nurses, is there a professional body that they must register with? Yes. Give me the professional body of ICT in the country and in the world. There is none. ICT is not a professional, is not recognized internationally and nationally as a professional body. So why are we calling IT people professionals when they are not? That's number one. That is number one, right? That is number one. When we sat in 2017, Comrade Victor, Larry, Nopal, we realized this. And we said, Comrade Gift, if you remember properly, one of the resolutions that we failed to implement, we said we are going to establish a professional ICT body that would be recognized. That's what Pbict was supposed to establish. We never did that. So therefore, we do not have a professional body. There isn't. Tell me, there isn't. There used to be Computer Society of South Africa. Yeah. And it was not a professional body. It was just like Pbict. Now they are called IITPSA. They are called IITPSA. Yeah. They claim to be a professional body, but they are not. They are just like us. They are not a professional body. There are no standards, no regulations. If you go to ITU, they don't know them. Right? If you go to the MTF framework and body, you do not see them. IEEE, you do not see them. They are not recognized as professional bodies. The IT borrows from engineering. The IEEE is engineering. We borrow from them. We borrow from them. So
just to add to what Press is saying now. Guys, very critical, no? Okay. Yeah, no, it's good, comrade.
I'm not.
That's very.
May I adjourn this session just like this because of your causes, people? You better tell me.
Very critical here that we need to understand. When you are belonging to a professional body, when a professional body exists, they're able to measure your competency. There's no IT body that exists that can measure that. They come because of your name and the position you have. They come, they glorify you, they say, they invite you to come, we're making you a member of this chartered IT professional.
Yes.
Now you're there on LinkedIn, I'm a member of chartered IT. Based on what? And you're thinking, because this guy is a CTO where we're useless. CTO professor where we're useless. They can't even build an app or configure a switch. Right? So, but with the doctors and the nurses and so for those professional bodies and engineers, you get measured and you have to come back for refreshers and all that type of stuff. You must pass every so on and so on. There's nothing like that in IT for you to understand. But President, also what I want to say is just maybe to level the playing for everyone to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean that you are not professional in what you are doing.
yes.
That's a definition of being professional. Being professional means that, how you conduct yourself. Being professional is conduct. Yes. So it's either you're professional or you're not professional. It's either you want to align yourself with a particular set of rules or unilaterally set up, like we've spoken about what is a comrade and so on. It's either you understand where you are or you don't. It's either you want to or you don't want to. You see, and that is what at times people will even say to a professional, that was very unprofessional. Even lawyers will sit together around the table and the one will tell the other one, that was very unprofessional. And the others will agree and say, it was.
My learned colleague.
body that you belong
Always.
to and all of that.
Chair, let's go on.
It's your,
Focus
it's your
on this.
conduct.
We're spending too much time on one thing.
Yeah, but President, that's what I wanted to say.
PBICTians, what is your profession? Okay, just to close, I think also it's important while we're talking about professions and political structures, people walking from the streets, the one thing that PBICT consistently does, which is leading to what other members spoke about yesterday, is these testimonials become very important as we go to increase the quality of our members, because there's a lot of people who have been transformed, who never knew IT, who come into PBICT, become network operators and all of these type of things. These things are real also, and I think that the lack of that is what's causing these gray areas. So there's been many stories, and there will continually be stories, mainly through PBICT, that someone can come in as one thing, but still be able to play their space and find their footing. So I think the welcoming of people coming in from different spaces and showing interest, that's how we'll show growth.
What is a professional?
Things
that define
I'm going to put you guys out of the meeting.
When you're done,
At
to
the
move
back
to the
there.
next thing.
Comrade Simpiwe,
No, I'm saying
NEC
come
member.
in and
You're
then move
supposed
us
to be
to
at
the
this
next-
desk. I'm
then
gonna
move to the
remove
next
you
page.
from the meeting. I must appoint marshals here to stand at the door there. Can we please
then we move to the
just
next
calm down a little bit? We are all just talking and, you know, engaging.
There's no part of the chair, so it's move us forward.
No, because I really believe that we have to create structure. We have to
I didn't recognize you, comrade. You see,
No,
you
so
all are
everyone is
derailing my
speaking
meeting.
freely. So I thought we are there now. The program.
Comrade Stace, comrade.
Comrade Chair, can I make a proposal on the way forward so that I continue with what I was assisting you in doing? Provinces were supposed to do this. We assume that they've done it, Chair. You and I are the only ones that didn't have the pleasure. Even the NEC members were told to go to their provinces. So they have engaged on this and they have led their provinces to do what you and I are doing right now. So, Chair, once we do this document and the amendments, then provinces have to go back and do what they're trying to do now. So let's carry on there, Chair. Where were we?
6.2.1.
All right, thank you,
Page
Chair.
11.
Yeah.
Page 11.
So on 6.2,
Duties of members.
there was no proposal on amendment. There was just a thing of re-looking at the office of Uno Bala. I think that was a thing, but they didn't say where and what. So on there was a proposal from the province. Comrades, here we want to seek clarity. I'm doing my powers as a president to direct this organization.
And 6.4.
Yes, Chair.
So there was a disciplinary policy that should have been appended to the constitution when you guys went into your provincial meetings. I got a lot of inputs about the NDC structures, and so it's there, it's in that document. So I'm going to allow that document guide the provinces. Under 6.4 here on page 11 and 12, we actually do touch on it, but we want you to refer to the policy that stands alone when we deal with discipline of members. There was a few inputs on that, but what I'm saying is I think it has been dealt with in
And
the
it had the time frames as well.
annexure. Yes, what I do agree with, and I think Free State touched on it, that there should be time frames to when a suspension happens versus when an NDC sits and when the outcome is given. So that will be added in terms of actual time frames, 30 days, 60 days, so that we are also guided and we are kept to the time frames. There is advice about a provincial structure, and that continues. We deal with the suspensions, we deal with the behaviors, we tell you what the conduct should be of a member. We deal with when you are found guilty. We define temporary suspensions. I'm on page 13. We actually say it should be attended to speedily as possible, but here I'll enter proviso of the actual 30-day or 60-day process. 30-day for the initial hearing and then 60-day, another 30 for the appeal
The
process.
Constitution, yes.
So that has been done. Here I'll add time frames in 6.4.11. Then you go to page 14 and it finishes that the NDC shall hear and determine violations in exceptional such situations, breaches of constitution, and then we finish that the SG and the provincial secretaries should communicate the rules to the members. So I just wanted to address that. It came out in many provinces, disciplinary issues, but it is there, except the time frames. Comrade Ndu?
Yes, Chair, on that, we also raised the issue of conflict of interest.
Yes.
You see, now we're going to the issue of saying the provincial secretary and the SGs. What happens if the SG is the one who's dealing with the misconduct? Because we have the same scenario in the organization of ONU. You have a secretary general that has been disciplined, suspended, taken to the DC and all that. Then you have a deputy that doesn't have powers to communicate that to the member. Because we highlight this thing and they say, no, the secretary general, the provincial secretary must then communicate that to the member. Then what happens if the secretary general is the one who's in charge, the provincial secretary is the one who's in charge?
Okay, let's
Who
add that.
communicates that to that secretary general?
Okay, we'll
When
add
the
the chair.
national, the DSG will step in to assume the roles of the Secretary General.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it has to be stated and clear. To say, because we dealing as a secretary and the PS as if they are said. It happens in the African National Congress where Isma Khashule was suspended by the president, but the resolution of the conference said the provincial secretary and the SG will communicate. So we are doing the same thing in PBICT. What happened if the SG, Comrade Will, is the one who's been disciplined? Then the deputy will have to be.
Comrade Mtu, thank you very much, Comrade Mtu. That is noted, Chair. We got it on there as a note.
So we don't refer to people, we refer to officers.
Okay,
The
you put it
office
there,
will
Chair.
deal with it. Not Will, not ACE, the office. This is not the ANC. So,
Chair, we'll
I'll
add
add
it. We got it there.
yeah.
We got, thank you, Comrade Mtu.
I'm on page 14.
We'll add it there.
What do you want?
Comrades, on the structure, there was a proposal which was and or that introduced a new structure on regions. I heard it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't clear on the policy. It was like a maybe. Are we introducing regions or are we not introducing regions?
In
Yes,
the
with
plenary,
condition,
in
it
the
was
plenary there
mentioned
was a
as part
discussion.
of the plenary motions
You can put on
that REC will only be allowed on the basis that the PC is on good standing.
What is that?
What is what?
What is functional? It meets every quarter.
Okay,
That
comrades,
you are stable as
do
a
we
PC.
put it there as a
Put it or
structure?
not?
So it's not a structure. What are we saying? Where do we put it? Because here on the Constitution it says structures of the organization, Chapter 8. Do we put it there?
1, 2.
was saying we can't have regions because we have dysfunctional provinces. Basically, you're saying I can't have kids because I'm unemployed. This is an organization. We are not building.
Comrades.
We can't build an organization.
That's not a nice example.
Yes.
We can't build an organization
Yes.
that is 10 years. Like PBICT. And then we are afraid that your province is dysfunctional.
So are we putting a structure of regions or not?
Yes, we are
Wait,
placing
someone,
it
there was a
correct.
hand there. There was a hand there.
Yes.
Wait, comrades.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah.
We can't, what is it? No. To say that in other provinces, they were seconding the motion of saying that we can't have regions in our provinces whereby ourselves as provinces we are not ready, we are not sustaining anything, we are not even implementing programs. So how can we have regions whereby ourselves as provinces are not ready to even hold mere meetings, virtual meetings? No, comrade.
Thank you. Next, there was a hand up. Yes, you can come in and then Comrade Simpiwe.
Where must I press? Chair, I think we are not ready to have regions because once we have regions, we're going to have the BECs in municipalities and then so on and so forth. So I think what we must have as PECs, we could, when we are doing elections of the PEC members, then we could at least have all the regions, in case, and like we have 11 regions, they could be represented in the PEC, all regions within, so they could form the PEC, not us forming the REC.
All right, thank you very much. Comrade Simpiwe. Comrade Gift, then Comrade Simpiwe. Sorry, Comrade Gift.
Morning, comrades. I think let me provide some clarity based on how we structured this thing. Press, you would recall in Dube, the reason why we said that we are going to formulate the structure as is because we are not a political movement, and we tend to lean on what we are doing here into a political structure. It was done intentionally and purposefully. Hence, we have the additional members and the different designations within the PEC. And one of the motions that was put on was to say, should there be a need within a particular province for something, the PEC will then create a subcommittee or a task team that will address that particular need at a time. So let us not deviate from what we've agreed on prior, because it was well thought out and for a reason. The chair was saying now earlier, part of the reason why we can't attract the quality of member that we require is because of our wording, is because of how we speak. That also goes to how we structure the organization. Can't have PECs, BEGs. Now we're gonna have, we are what? ANC 2.0. No, we are not, comrades. So let's stay away from that and go back to why things were done in that particular manner. If there is a need, the PEC will put together a subcommittee or a task team that will address that need at that time. I think that's clear.
Comrades, I think that closes the matter now.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it differing from the...
Spirit, your hand is up.
Comrade Spirit. 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Yeah.
No, thanks, Comrade Chair. My view, Comrade Chair, is one. To say at least let us have regions represented in the PC. So meaning that maybe in Gauteng, let us have 5 representatives, one from Joburg, one Ekurhuleni, one Tshwane, one Sidibeng, one Wesrand, who will sit in the PC as maybe ex-officials or additionals, so that we have regional representation. Then on the issue of are we political or what, I really differ, Comrade Chair, because the same professionals we are speaking about, they are not assisting this organization anyhow. So let us have people who don't have any experience, people who don't have any expertise come. That's why we have professionals in the NEC. Because an NEC is an apex body. It's people who must have expertise. So we are saying the NEC, when us as mobilizers, when we report to the SG, it must be part of our report to say, what have we done? What impact are we making in these different provinces? Because you don't assist saying we don't want these people who are not in ICT, we don't want people who are not experts. But we are experts. These boys that disrupted at CETA, Comrade Chair. No, I'm just showing you something. Today, one of them is an ISP. So it shows that there's an impact that we are making.
Don't respond to that.
So okay.
It's not an item.
No, thanks, Comrade Chair.
We've noted your
But we've
submission.
done a very honorable job. In Western Cape, we went to launch young people, Northwest young people. In Gauteng, we brought engineers. We brought people who've got expert and who are revolutionary in terms of thought. Wow. So when we mobilize, we bring them to our base, then it's our duty to conscientize them. Those are my submissions.
Thank you very much.
Comrades,
Let's resolve that.
comrades, we are not going to put regions. The PEC has a power to have committees, that's number one. Number two, when you are going to PEC, you have all the power in the world to enforce that. In KZN, there's Harry Kwala, there's eThekwini, you have people from Umkungundlovu. Otherwise, wherever the organization active. Sabata, you also did the same thing with that side. If you go, Comrade Felix, you remember also in Eastern Cape, I know you do that. You make sure that the regions are represented. Anyway, Comrade Gift, if you remember at the NGC, there's a standing resolution of the NGC that was here, where we said there must be regions, and it's just, that's it. It's been there. But as a structure, comrades, it's not going to be put in there. It's clear, comrades. Ne? Now we go to the next one, comrades. Comrade, Chair, please welcome Comrade Utula. Let's recognize him.
We welcome a guest we invited, Comrade Tula. Thank you so much for joining us today. Comrade Tula was part of.
He's a founding member.
He's a founding member. Comrade Tula is one of the founding members that were with our Comrade Pbict, Prez, Comrade Larry, and them that started it. So thank you for coming, and we rely on all of you for guidance. We are busy now with amendments to the Constitution, and as you listen, perhaps it will revive the reasons why Pbict was started in the first place. There are a lot of young people now in the organization, and I think it's our duty to educate them. NGC is coming up. We'll be handing over the organization. So the idea this weekend is just to align, update the constitution, and make sure when NGC comes in May, we can then give over the amended constitution and they can run from there. So that's where we are. Thank you so much, Comrade Tula, for coming.
Thank you, Comrade Tula. And Comrade Tula is from BITF and has, from the beginning, supported PBICT every time. Thank you, Comrade Tula. Much appreciated. Comrades, and on the structures, there's the PBICT cooperatives, which was established, some established, not established. I think that is something that provinces have to fix. The provinces, Chair, we're not changing. You know, at some point in time, Comrade Sabata, there was a proposal to merge Western Cape with Northern Cape when we couldn't, Free State and Northern Cape and that. But now I think we've done well in that. I think that stands. The NGC, comrades, we'll attend it in the thing. We'll address it when we're doing those structures at the bottom. Because it's still in national, the NGC. What was the recommendation? The proposal?
There was something about treasurers becoming voting delegates. Let me see who proposed that. And treasurers participating in the NEC.
Okay. Okay, we'll deal with that, comrades, when we get to it. Thank you, Chair, for that one. So it's not here on the voting, which is fine. So the National General Conference, comrades, we clear about it. There was an issue of 3 years and
5 years.
5 years. Does this affect us here?
NGC convened every 3 years. It won't affect the NGC. It will affect the term of the office.
But here it's 5 years. It says 3 years. Is it not 3 years? Not 5 years.
No, it says the NGC must be convened by the NEC every 3 years. This is the NGC. If it's confusing, we might have to.
Okay. Yes.
Within the 5 years.
Yes, it's actually the midterm review.
The midterm review.
Can we take that and say the midterm review? Comrades, 8.5, comrades, can we call that it's a midterm review? Right? Because it's taking us to. Hey, welcome, Comrade Makob. Yeah, there's the what you call yourself, the author of the constitution that we're amending. Yes.
So I think we just amend 8.5.1. Maybe say because we can't amend the National General Conference.
No.
Anytime.
Adding midterm review.
Yeah.
No, the national conference is the next one. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
we can't amend that. So we just do the midterm review.
I put here, NGC is the highest decision-making body, and the midterm review must be convened every 3 years. Correct. So in your 5 years, you have 3 years to convene that midterm review.
Okay.
The NGC must be convened no later than 60 days after the end of term of the NEC.
Yes. I think there was no proposed amendments on there. And then there's a structure, comrades. There was proposals on the amendment of the structure. That is 8.6.1. I will go through it. If it must be changed, comrades, can we make recommendations on it? If it stays, President.
Where are we? Page 17.
Deputy President. National Chairperson. National Deputy Chairperson. Secretary General. Deputy Secretary General. Systems. Deputy Secretary General Admin. Treasurer General. Deputy Treasurer General. SMME Mobilizer.
When we get there, Can I come in there? Here were the mobilizers in anything. Those roles are not clear and they are not active, according to me. If I wanted to understand as a PC member, what is the national mobilizers bringing to the province to activate, let's say, I've discussed it with the SMME mobilizer, and he told me that there are no roles and responsibilities. So how do you keep myself accountable? I think we have to look into these roles and what the roles and responsibilities of these things are. And is it relevant to
So SMME mobilizer, we must remove it.
No, I'm
So it
saying
stays.
we didn't duplicate it in provinces.
Yeah, you need
It's
to
not duplicated.
cascade it to
Yes.
provinces.
So right now, I'm reading the Constitution, 8.6.1, and I'm asking if it stays or it gets moved. Noted, Comrade Katalito will come to that. So it stays. Professional and workers mobilizer. Innovator mobilizer.
Professionals, why is that not staying?
Not said you'll get professionals. I was just stating the obvious. No, I was stating the obvious.
Y'all have a mobilizer to something you don't agree with. You're not professionals. There's a professionals mobilizer here.
Right. Innovators, women, youth, student. There was a proposal to merge the two. Over the youth, okay. Policy and political education. Then we have two additional members. I don't know what's their roles. Their not roles are not defined. So they stay. All right.
The office of the founding president was proposed. And then there was a proposal from the conference to introduce a new office that oversees the organization for the founding members and the outgoing members that want to add.
And there was also a structure that must oversee the NEC and those things, comrades. So that I forgot about it. It's just not going to go in there. It just doesn't make sense. You want a Robert Mugabe?
Chair, we were not saying. Remember, this is a police conference. We analyze the leadership we have. We analyze the future, but we were viewing that the crop that led us, that open Pbict, must not disappear. But even if it's not a structure that is existing in the constitution, but can be maybe a committee, an integrity committee, or a council, or a board, or a leadership, or assistant, or advisor. We are trying to not. Yeah, something like that, because we are trying not to lose you. Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair.
The order of the Constitution Day, and it's going to come in next. Comrade him too. Yes.
Press, we are trying not to lose you guys. Let's just be fair on it. We are trying not to lose you. If we have NEC meetings, we will wish to see 4 or 5 of you guys sitting there. If we have NGCs, we want to see you guys participating there. In provinces, we want you guys to come in there and be with us. We don't want to lose you. That was the view that was coming from the floor. So the fear. No, wait.
No, I'm the next chairperson of KZN. I'm the incoming chairperson of KZN. How are you going to lose me, Chief?
He's back in the NEC.
Yeah? I'm the incoming chairperson of KZN. Me and the chairperson have spoken up. He's going to the NEC. I'm going to be.
I'll be the chair of Free State.
Yes.
I'll go back home.
So what's the problem? You're dealing with people here, Chief. We're not moving from this organization.
Repurposed it.
Yeah?
No, that's why leadership. But now what do we say each other? We don't want to lose.
I got a position there, additional member of the NEC there.
Okay.
Then what's the problem, Chief? You can. No. Comrade him too.
No, it's fine.
Thank you very much. Comrade Makoba, can you come in on this one? There's a proposal,
Do you want to come in?
before SG comes in, as the author of the Constitution, the good thing, Comrade Mdu, is that in the room we have the person, when this Constitution was written, that had the thinking. Marco, we were sitting upstairs. We did discuss this, and we had a long discussion about it. I remember, I think this is one of the items, there's 2 items we phoned John Jeffries on. It was this one, and then it was the one of whether the PBICT, we can just launch it and then invite people, or must we make it a broad organization that is established by everyone? That's where it led to the Hilton. So what was the thinking on this originally? We are glad, we are lucky, Comrade Mdu, that everyone that is here today, whilst we're still alive, has been suckling and learning from the people that actually planted the seed of this organization. Comrade Makoba, can you please come in on that one? Having what you call it, lifetime president and structure of elders, veterans, council of advisors, stalwarts, and then where does, if it is something that should be fitted in, where and how does it get fitted in? If it is not necessary, then how do we still resolve what Comrade Mdu was talking about? Because it's not about the person, but it's about the work and the content and what the person and the learnings and the teachings. Otherwise, we would still need to pick Segasame to be alive today. Comrade Makoba, can you come in on this one?
You know what I like about this input here? Is that it is telling you, comrades, that you are no longer available for the next conference. So, you must find something different for you. That was the correct thing. So, no, I think the first, or the premise should be the fact that people are sitting somewhere in the constitution is written that is a democratic organization. So what that means? It means that it has to have a higher structure as the decision-making body if the membership is not there to make decisions by itself. Now, if you want to go with the principle that Comrade Mdu is raising, you must therefore create something which science ideas are with, we used to call it the founders, something. But that cannot have executive powers as the NEC would have, because the NEC would be democratically elected. So those comrades that will go fit to that particular council will grow into the council, will not be elected into the council. You understand what I mean? Will grow into the council, so they can't hold executive power. So I think if I'm understanding Comrade Mdu correctly, he's trying to say we need an advisory board somewhere that we are going to tap when we need some wisdom, some knowledge, or some background of a particular issue. Now that can be formed. I don't see a problem with that, Comrade Chair. Can be formed, but I think it needs us here. As this particular board now, which is a recommending board, because there's not a decision about it here. It's only the NTC that will take the decision. This recommending board will recommend my suggestion, because you must have some criteria that it makes me, as Makoba, to be part of that particular board. So it means what we need to do, because that particular board will have to advise, and it must have powers to advise, but you know the advice most. I can advise you to marry her, but if it does not, it won't happen. So, because what we must not lose sight of is the executive powers of those who are elected. But you can't allow them to get to source advice. So my suggestion, Chair, is that we can suggest it as a principle, but then form a small committee, maybe through the NEC, to go and look at it deeply and look at criteria who is supposed to be or who can be in that council. That will be advising the whole body system of the organization, but through the Thanks.
Thank you very much, Comrade Makoba. Comrade Nobala, as you're coming in with that comment,
The first constitution, Comrade Makov, that you drafted, it had that. At Pbict report, it was adopted. Founding members, and that they would be counsel and that it will advise. It even said that the dissolution, if the NEC at any time resolves to dissolve, it must come back to the founding members. Comrade Nobale, as you're coming in the second conference, it was Gauteng that made that to say it must be removed, which it was then removed. So as you're coming in, Nobale, can you remind me again, what was the thinking back then when it was recommended that it be removed, and then you can come in on what you want or your input?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And I like the interactions because they bring the memory back. But comrades, it's really tough to answer the question. The vote of contention then was the founding members and the conference obviously was of a view that we can't have founding members who are absolute members. So in the definition of a member of Pbict, the idea was we can't have members who have a certain status. We're all members, anything else is below. While appreciating, and that's why 5.2.2 is still there, to say founders shall refer to the ordinary members that has established Pbict. So that has remained. And then there's also 6.1.7 that speaks of founders shall have the responsibility to guide the vision of Pbict.
Yes.
So that responsibility hasn't been taken from the founders. So if the founders are not there, they decided to abandon ship. Comrades, those of you who are here, you have to take that responsibility. We can't go and hand them and say, Comrade Tato, you are a founder. You ran away, you are into Gasdom, or Comrade Letamo. And I'm speaking of my comrades who are not here. Right? It's not our responsibility to go and hand the founding members of this organization to come and take the responsibility. The clause already sticks to that. So if they don't want to activate that and be active members, you cannot take that responsibility. That's why I'm against anything that speaks to create any body or structure over and above what is already here. The National Executive Committee is an elected structure. That's why we have IEC. When we launched Comrade Makova, you remember we had to even kick them out.
I think it's in the constitution.
Because we were not in agreement. And I had to come to the house and say, Comrade, after everything else, we still need to make money. And that's the only thing that binded us to say, okay, we understand this politics, but there's a bigger war at hand. Okay. So my contribution is there must not be anything that is going to undermine the next National Executive Committee. And I'm not speaking for myself. I'm trying to protect the integrity of those who are going to lead next. I will be still participating as a normal, ordinary member, and I'll contribute to my highest level ability. I do not need to be created a certain structure for me to guide you. I'll attend meetings in my branch in Gauteng. Those of you NEC members who are outgoing, go and join your provinces and participate there. You are not going to be some elites. What? It doesn't work like that, comrade. Let us not create that culture. Those of you who want to still participate in Pbict, regardless of your position, you must remain committed. If you are not committed, that's fine. The young lion there was saying they will drive this organization wherever they want. So my contribution, Chair, I don't support any, and I'm not speaking for myself, that's my point, that let us respect the next coming National Executive Committee. If it fails, it fails. And it won't be failing because there's no advisory body. It will be failing because the members, including the founding members who are by virtue members of this organization, failed it. And all of you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Nopala. Like I said, Comrade Umtu, it's not a new submission. Submission that was there before. But Comrade Makova said that the recommendation, this body, the policy conference, will make recommendation to the NGC. That again will be the ultimate rubber stamp. So we will put it as a proposal, and then at the NGC we'll then deliberate on it. Then, comrades, we're done with those governors. There was the roles. There was a proposal that the office of Unopala must be moved the CEO of the organization, and some powers must be stripped from the chair and given to Unopala. So it means that to the Secretary General. So it means you must strip the power of the president being the overall director of the organization and give it to Unopala, and his roles of the chair of launching provinces that must be stripped from the chair and given to Unopala. There was a recommendation like that.
And that the deputy SG and the national deputy chair, they don't see the value in those two roles, and that should be done away with.
What was the thing? Which province made that submission? If we can have clarity on that.
Limpopo and Gauteng came with the issue of national chairs' roles must be stripped and taken to SG's office, that the SG should be like the CEO, that all communication should go through the SG's office, that the SG is like the CEO. Even the president then doesn't, the president is just like a chairperson.
Ceremonial president, cuts ribbons.
Yeah, he cuts ribbons.
Okay, so
that
that's
was,
a proposal,
from
comrades.
Gauteng and from Limpopo. Those two provinces had that issue.
Is Limpopo still here?
No.
Is Gauteng here?
No. Yes.
Can you please clarify that for us? What was the proposal there?
Our proposal was the issue of on the national art.
Mike.
Yeah, here.
Yes, got one there.
Am I audible? Our view was on the issue of.
Can you introduce yourself, comrade?
National perspective.
Name?
Oh, my name is Puso Bele. I'm a PC member in Gauteng.
All right, thank you.
Our issue, our view was on the national point of perspective. To say the roles that are given to the chair must be given to the secretary, because the chair has a workload of work.
All of
in
them.
which
All the roles.
Not all the roles. Administrational roles that work interact with the secretariat's role, in fact. So necessarily there are other comrades' inputs. They are outside, so I think I should call them so that they can put also their own. It's fine.
Comrade Mto, come in.
No, thanks. Thanks, Chair. I think my view is that let's just leave the structure as it is, the powers, let's just keep them as they are. Because we are trying now to say the policy head of the organization must take his or her power to the administration of the organization, creating a CEO office. Let's leave the structure as it is, press, and then maybe we can just add role there and then if it is. But for now, let's just leave it as it is. Because the comrades, they don't say actually the chair doesn't have power or the president. They were just looking into maybe launching a province so that the chair must not launch a province, then the SG must launch a province. Let's just leave it as it is.
Comrade Makob, before I accept other hands, when we drafted this constitution, I did mention that we were consulting. I think Jeffries was a deputy minister back then, né? And we had some judges that we were busy also consulting with, and some lawyers that we were busy, even the current mayor of eThekwini, we were busy consulting those. We had 4 constitutions that we were looking at. We were looking at the constitution of the ANC. There was, I think we looked at the black, we looked at BITF. We also looked at, there was 4 constitutions that I know we looked at. And we were looking how they were structured.
And we also looked at what we wanted to achieve and how we wanted PBIC to be established. And that is when we were busy balancing the roles, and we were looking at certain scenarios, if and when scenarios. Now, it's not going to do justice on the provinces that made this recommendation are not there. So it would be futile if I ask you, but for the benefit of everyone that is here, Comrade Malcolm, can you please, can we go back and can you refresh our minds, but also share the perspective that we had back then? Because I know I was keep on saying that General Secretary and Secretary General, and we had a long argument which lasted 3 days of saying whether this should be a General Secretary or a Secretary General. Can you just give us that, that definition and explanation, please, Comrade Makob? So you're looking at the president, because I remember we came with the issue of presiding and the director. We also looked at the office of the chairperson. And if you remember on our original, Comrade Makob, we didn't have a deputy chair, remember? We didn't have deputy chair, it was just the chairperson. Then the conference, Comrade Tule, if you remember in Dubai Trade Port, is the one that said there must be a deputy chairperson. We didn't have that. So can those officers, can you just give us the president, the chair, and the secretary's office, Comrade Makob? I know, Guti, at that time when we were sitting, we said, we do not know the president that is going to be there. We do not know the chairperson. We do not know the secretary that is coming in. Because Minanawe, we had said, you were supposed to be the first chairperson of KZN. I said I want to be the first Nopala of KZN. So our interests were not there, but we had 100% full interest of the organization. So we were sitting with the scenario where we wanted to build this organization that we knew is going to change and shake the country and the world as it is. We did not know who is coming into this organization. We had this power that we wanted to give to people that we do not know, that we have never met. So we wanted to ensure that the organization is protected and that there will be never a time where there is a conflict between this and power struggles within it. So that is the spirit of the original constitution that was written, comrades. And Makoba, can you come in on that?
Okay, thanks, Chair. Greetings, comrades. I forgot to greet you last time. Just that, no, I arrived here and I was asked a question. So, no, Chair, let me start here. It's not Dubai Trade Port that put these deputies, the deputy Treasurer General and the deputy chair. I think it was a conference that was in this very room. I think so. Yeah.
Because the first conference we didn't have a deputy.
Yes. Comrade Ngobo. Yeah, did not have a deputy. He was just a chair. Let me say this, Chair. Let's talk the principle. First of all, PBICT is a unitary organization. Somewhere there. I'm not good with sections, but it's somewhere there. What does that mean? It means that it's one organization. That's why you even had a discussion on Secretary General or General Secretary. What is the difference there is that the General Secretary, as it says, is the General Secretary. So if you go to structures like SSCP, you get a General Secretary because he's both administrative and political. In our case, we have a political office, which is the President. That's a political office. Then you have an administrative office, which is the office of the Secretary General, because he's a secretary first, and is general because he's got other secretaries under him or her. So, but he's the head of administration. The president is the head of the organization politically. So that's why he's a chief executive officer. What did you say? Yes. That's what to say, because the president, Then comes the issue of I don't have a problem with the deputies, let me start there. Comes the issue of the chairperson, the national chairperson. You see, the role of the national chairperson, if you go down to provinces, it's played by chairpersons of provinces in a way, but also the chairpersons of provinces are also political heads of provinces. Now, the chairperson chairs meetings. So the person that says you can talk, shut up, you talk, shut up, and then, it's that is his job. But what we inserted there is something about being head of the policy, policy development, and all of that. So that is the office that deals with those things. Now let's take this particular meeting. Comrade Steph is chairing, just that I'm confused now what's going on, but Comrade Steph is chairing this meeting. Yeah, she's supposed to be chairing this meeting. In her absence, the deputy comes in and chairs the meeting. But the president presides over the meeting because it's the highest office that is in the. So he presides over the meeting. So what it means then he's the ultimate, if I may put it like that. I'm a Democrat, I don't like those such things. But he's an ultimate, meaning that whenever this meeting can deadlock on any issue, he must provide a political direction on that particular issue. It falls on the president. It falls on the president that when this meeting closes, he addresses this meeting to say, this is what this meeting has said. The chairperson, what is going to do is going to say, President, you can close for us. Then the president will stand up and close. The person that will adjourn this sitting is the chairperson, because he's chairing the meeting. So closing and adjourning will be the two different functions. The one is going to give a directive to say, we've said, and this was discussed, this is the. But the person going to say, because she's chairing the meeting adjourned is the chairperson. So this discussion is neither here nor there in this sense, comrades. The Secretary General then is the head of administration. So I'm sure issues like membership falls under the issues like. When I say the office of the Secretary General, I mean the Secretary General and his or her deputies. That whole office. How they divide, I once said to Leon one day, we not necessarily have to give particular functions to deputies, because it's the same office. Everything falls under the Secretary General. It's the three of them. They can see, you, First Deputy Secretary General, this is going to be your task. Because what you don't want to happen, comrades, is that whenever you are in an NGC and you are expecting, because the Constitution says the Secretary General will provide a report somewhere there. We don't want him to say, no, but this was supposed to be done by roles. I'm not going to talk to this because then you might not be able to say something because it's in the Constitution. But if you give him the ultimate responsibility and accountability on the office, then the three of them in the office, they can divide the tasks. Particularly, Leon, particularly is fine. that did not pass. But all I'm saying is that at the principal level, you have a head of the organization, if I may put it like that, who is the president, the driver, which is the national chair, and the head of administration. Or laba abanye balula-ke laba abanye ke lo omunye fanele lethi imali and so forth. It's not a train smash. But nothing. You see, nothing that must be done when you want to change. You want to change looking at faces, like the SG was saying. You change for the principle's sake, so that whoever comes in the future just falls into the principle. and then be able to function properly because the principle is set and straightforward. So the principle is the president is the head of the organization because the organization is unitary. It's one organization. So the Secretary General is the head of administration. So Secretary General is the day-to-day kind of a person. Day-to-day kind of a person. So if there is a problem, somewhere in the constitution it says he also corresponds. So it means that if I'm a member of the organization and I receive the letter that is signed by the national chair, I must question. Because the person that must sign a correspondence is the Secretary General, according to the constitution. So if the NEC wants to communicate something, maybe even if it's from the office of the president, he must then discuss it with the Secretary General, and the Secretary General send it out. But here's the difference: if the organization wants to say something to the public, it's the president. It's the president that must then say something to the public, press conferences and all of that. But they're working together. There's a collective principle somewhere there. There's a collective principle somewhere there that they must also abide. But I'm just trying to say, this is one organization. It means we've got one NEC, but you then have offices within the NEC that they must play specific roles. So, for example, comrades, is Gauteng back? I don't know. For example, you can. For example, this one clause that says the national chair needs to launch provinces. You can remove that one to the Secretary General because it's administrative by nature. You can move, but I don't think the whole function that we put there will be relevant because we don't want to rock the boat too much. Okay, at the same time, I hope I was clear. Thanks. Sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade Malcolm, for that clarity. And if you remember the principle, the clause that you talk about, why we put it there, we only had one position field when we were forming the organization, and that was Comrade Ukai. And again, we're going to launch provinces, and we didn't know who's coming into this organization. So that one is the one when I was saying yesterday that there's roads that we moved from. It was from Unopal, was the launching of the provinces. So, comrades, the conference, so I just want to summarize party cycles you in and out. So what the recommendation of moving our powers, the only one that we have, because the people that presented the item are not here with us to support their proposal. There's the one that is saying that the only one that is administrative in nature is the chairperson launching the provinces. Because anyway, as the head of the policy, she's still the chairperson. The office of the chairperson is the one that still does the policy part of the launching of the province. It's the only one. That's the recommendation. Patisai, your hand was up. Can you come in on that proposal that Umakoba closed on, that we move the launching of provinces, the administrative part to the secretary? Because right now, Makoba, how it, comrades, let me rather say, how it is that the secretary on the administrative part of launching provinces is responsible. But the chairperson must ensure that the PEC, that there is a PEC in every province. That is how it is right now. So, do we change that, or it remains Patisai, and then you can come in with you can come with your input, and then come in with?
No, I think the recommendation to say only the administrative part can move to the SGO's office. I agree with that one. But when I was going out, I was looking at Gauteng here, and they're outside. And then I engaged them. Guys, we are dealing with this issue which you have proposed. We want clarity. It seems as if they don't know where it came from. Just fell to that report. But I think Comrade Makoba, you've covered it properly for all of us. I agree with that, and I think I just wanted to bring that up to say I was engaging Gauteng to say, come in, explain to us, and see that they don't know where it comes from.
All right. So, comrades, in 8.6.4.3, right, F, The word is oversee the launching. Like it's an oversee function.
Oversight.
By the way, the SG is still the one that must figure out how that province is going to get there, the logistics, the admin, the membership. He must communicate with the PTT there or the elected interim committee there. I just ask the SG, hey, SG, did you launch? When are we launching? And I make sure that the SG does what in terms of the governance structures. I make sure that the governance structure exists. And I keep tabs on the SG's office that when we agree to the deadlines in terms of the resolutions of the NEC, NGC, NWC, I make sure that the resolution part of us launching Gauteng and Limpopo is done by the 2nd of February. How it gets there, admin part, the logistics, that's the SG's office that must establish his task team. Most of the times I don't even comment in the task team because my role is not to get involved in the admin or the logistics. That's SG. What I must do is to say, SG, you said the 2nd of Feb. What am I telling the NEC? And what am I telling the NWC? Are you going to achieve it or not? And if not, tell me why so that I put it on the agenda and you brief the NWC. So this role here is an overseeing function. So I just wanted to clarify that. Whether if we are saying we don't want to even have the overseeing function, then it's a different conversation.
No, it's perfect the way it is now.
Yes, Comrade.
The SG office is the one that deploys employees to
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, that's part of the
All right. Okay, so comrades, it's covered. So it remains. It remains as it is.
Unchanged.
And then there was an item that we also need that said that the treasurers must be part of the NEC
And be voting delegates.
and be voting delegates, or otherwise they must be ex officials of the NEC. Is that
Voting delegates.
in the NEC?
They must be part of the NEC and be voting
Which province
delegates.
came with that? Is that what you came with?
Just wait. Oh, okay, no, wait.
Which province?
Let me check for you. Treasurers need to be empowered. Wasn't Gauteng. Let me just go there. Somewhere. Won't be Eastern.
All right, so comrade, there's no province that remembers submitting that the treasurers must be. I remember seeing it also.
Northwest.
Yeah, it was
Northwest said treasurers
Northwest.
should be part
Can you
of
come
voting
in there,
delegates.
comrades?
Comrades are distant.
Can we have the mic for Northwest, please?
It's goed om te schrijven.
Is there a mic for Northwest?
There's a mic.
Testing.
Gauteng, you have disrespected this policy conference, and one more like that, I will make an example and throw you out of this conference, whether I have that power or not. But I will do exactly that. Respect the conference. You're busy in and out. You're disrespecting us, and you're disrespecting the conference. You're disrespecting this organization. I will throw you out. Literally throw you out. Not as I will stand and say, get out of the room. I will throw you out. Thank you. Northwest, can you please come in?
Okay, thank you, President. Thank you, when this input was put on the table, factors like the other time we went to Joburg for a meeting, there were questions and there were clarities that we needed from the treasurers, and they were not there. They were not even part of the meeting. So us as chairpersons and secretaries, we're supposed to answer on their behalf. So we saw it fit and fair enough for them to be part and parcel of the NEC and also become voting delegates because they're also playing a vital role. Because raising money and ensuring that people get to where they are without even a proper qualification and stuff and other factors, it's also a lot of work, and they're putting more work than the student mobilizer thing. So they work more, but then it seems like we are suppressing them, and it's also demoralizing to them because like they also do a lot of work. And they already. So that's why we saw it fit for them. They can account and become responsible for the finances. And
you also said that the NWC should have one member from each province inside the NWC.
Yes.
Right.
You want to come in,
Should I also clarify on that one?
No. That one is okay. I mean, it's just. I presume it's the issue of communication, how we work.
Yes,
transferring
plenary
information.
and everything, so that each and
Plenary.
every province can also provide their plannings and everything.
Yeah, there's a feeling that the NEC doesn't communicate effectively or regularly to provinces.
Yes,
So,
so
provinces are left in the loop about what they need to do,
Yes.
what we are busy doing. So Northwest proposes that one member from each province form part of the NWC.
Yes, so that they can also be accountable for some of the programs that are failing provincially, because they are there representing the province as well. So if anything goes wrong, they are there. They should ensure that at least something goes right. At least they are part of the plenary and they come from provinces and they understand what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the threats and weaknesses of the provinces. So being part of the NWC would actually be beneficial for the provinces.
She's still talking. Thank you very much, Northwest Chair. There were hands, Comrade Mdu, and then, yeah.
Chair, on that, I think we need to be clear structurally. At a provincial level, you have a political head which is chair. All the issues regarding the province are brought to that office of the chairperson, the political and all that. And then you have the secretary, the provincial sector, which is administrative. All administrative issues that are in the province, they are submitted to the office of the secretary, dealing with the issues of membership, all the records and all that. So for them to be ex-officials in the NEC, it says the NEC is democratic enough to give a province a platform represented either by the political head or by the administrator of the province. So those two are empowered enough to bring all the issues of the province to the NEC. The NWC are the officials that are running the working committee of the NEC, and they take the issues to the NEC. They don't take any decision. So they recommend to the NEC. Then what is NEC? NEC is where ex-officials of provinces sit in the NEC. So if you want to sit in the NWC as a province again, what a use for you to also sit in the NEC? Because you know what is discussed in the NWC, then you also sit in the NEC, you receive the same stories, which means province reports to the NEC from the position of sitting as a working committee. So structurally, let's just allow that democratic and working relationship of the NEC working committee. Remember, province also got the provincial working committees. So we want to say the whole PEC must sit there as a working committee. We're planning a program as 5 officials of the province, then the whole PEC is there. So you go to the PEC and report what? Because you all been discussing this. So structurally, let's allow them to work the same. Yes, it's an input of the province, it's a good input, but we need also to get that structural clarification to say how it works, why it's there, and it serves what purposes. That's my suggestion.
Thank you. Comrade Makoma, you wrap it up for us.
All I can say is that allow the NEC, the national leadership, to have its own space to lead. You know, when it comes to this thing, that's what the NWC provides for the NWC, for the national leadership. It allows, because in the NEC, there is provinces that are there as officials. But they are part of the NEC, they are the NEC. You know what I mean? By virtue of holding an office in the province of Chairperson, you are an NEC member with all full rights of being an NEC member. So, but the NEC must also be allowed, or the national leadership in this case, must also be allowed the space to lead the organization at the national level. If there's a problem with communication, there's the man that must account. If provinces do not have information, the Secretary General must account. Why the provinces don't have it? So not that because there's no information, then the province must walk to the information. No, through being represented in the NWC. The NWC or the national leadership would not be correct if they're making provinces to account in the meeting of the NEC. It could be either about money or anything. Because the person that must account in the NEC on programs and everything else is the Secretary General and the Treasurer General. See? So when they come to the NEC meeting, they come to attend as members. And there must be a report from the Secretary General on whatever programs are there. There must be a report from the TG on issues of money. And then they must take that report as members of the NEC, go back to the provinces and report. So my point again, when I'm sitting down, say that there's no blow to the NEC. Let's allow offices that are supposed to do their job. If there's a problem with communication, Secretary of the province must write to the SG and say there's a problem. The NEC, when it sits, those comrades, when they're making their inputs, they must say there's a problem with communication. You are not aware of programs that are happening. If there's an issue with money, the TG must stand up and say these are the issues around money. But the TG was the treasurer general. He can then call his own meeting with the provincial treasurer and say, they are the problems with terms of resources and other situation. But let's not bloat the NEC, because we'll end up having a mass meeting of an NEC.
Thank you very much. There was also an issue from Northwest that it wants us to swap the terms. It wants the NEC to be 3 years and it wants the PC to be 5 years. All right, clarify, then we can just close it as well. Thank you.
We were looking at the years. Ne? They said, I don't know how to clarify this one, but then it was a question that why is NEC 5 years and then PEC 3 years? Yes, they oversee and they do everything nationally and stuff like that. But then why not, okay, maybe 4 years, or why not 3 years and 6 months, and then the PEC would remain at 3 years, or maybe be decreased to 2 years or something.
Or you just wanted clarity on why it's 5 and 3?
Why it's 5 and 3? Because it's 2 years, after like 3 years, 2 years also it's like 1 year and then the other. So we thought like.
Okay, no, good, because that's why we get clarity. And then I've dealt with it. Come on, Stacey.
You were going to cover, it's a clarity question to the Northwest Province to say that if the Northwest Province wants provinces to be extended to 5 years and the national to 3 years, who is going to launch these provinces if the provinces are going to have 5 years in office and the national is going to have 3 years? Are they not, it's not worth saying that the provinces must launch the national. That was just a clarity seeking question. Maybe that's why I said before I submitted this to say that maybe we're going to clarify that. But that was just my question to the Northwest Province.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, lucky we addressed this one in 2020 when we changed the terms in 2020 NGC. Initially it was 2 years and NEC 3 years. No? PC 2 years, NEC 3 years. And
it was 1 year.
1 year. PC was 1 year.
Yes.
And we had a crisis because these provinces were going to.
Now it was
we've learned hard lessons. A
PC
PC was initially 1 year. The problem that it was having, it was chaos in national. SG was bombarded. We had to then create more support. The reason why you see all these extra support positions is because the SG couldn't handle it. He says, but EC just launched. We're like, yeah, it's a year later. They must launch again. Then you had 9 provinces launching every 12 months. It was ridiculous. We then said, no, guys, we need to change something here. 2020 happened, and we decided, look, comrades, and the provinces came to national and said, look, guys, we think we deserve a 3-year term. They also said things like, in a year, you can't really prove what you can do. We need more time. They need more time to get the understanding of the organization. We then said it takes 6 months to a year to actually understand. It was Northern Cape that came with it. They then fought the position to say, make us 3 years, and then the NEC 5 years, so that the NEC oversees the new PCs and oils you well, so that when we outgo like we are doing now, your PCs are already well oiled. In fact, you will be teaching or guiding the new NEC for a period of time until it gets itself in order, and you'll be showing the new leadership because you have been here. If there are now new people coming up here, you'll be actually there to actually say, no, but we were established this time, this is how we do. If something happens, I don't know what will happen, but that was the thinking. So I think that item we exhausted extensively in the 2020 conference. So I think the terms are fine as they are. 5 years NEC, 3 years. And then we also brought in the thing about you can't serve 2 terms.
Yes.
That's why all of us can't come back, because we are in our 2nd term. We are finishing. I'm finishing the very first chair's term, and then I served another one. Prez has been here since the beginning. So most of us we've already done our 2 terms. We also then brought
Coming
in
back
the-
as additional member, Chair.
You can come back as another. You can come back in another position, but not the same one. So you all can bring back the press as a additional member there, but he can't be the press again ever.
Or pull a Putin move, bring a proxy president to come in, then come back again.
Comrades.
All right, no, thank you very much, comrades. I think, Chair, if I can also,
KPIs
yes.
they wanted.
Yes, so if I can also come in, remember, comrades, when we're going to conference, usually there's a practice, comrade tool, that when we're going to conference, like as we're going now, when we're having an NEC meeting, we invite treasurers. We call it an extended NEC, so that we can have that gap fillers that are in there. I think also there was the proposal that we must define the mobilizers
And KPIs,
and
set proper.
and set KPIs. Now, I think, comrades, there's something that we need to look at critically. I know that the conference is saying, yes, this must stay, that must stay. The PBICT, when we said it exists to push programs, correct? The PBICT programs that I'm aware of is access and ownership, internet for all, school by day, varsity by night, 4IR STEAMing. Which other one am I leaving? Local is Moja, right? Those are the 5 programs that we are pushing. But when we come and we're having coordinators that must push programs, we then change. The people that must be mobilized in each of those programs is the youth, the women, the SMMEs, the professionals, and. So why are we not aligning those coordinators? Because their role is to push those programs. I'm just asking, why are we not aligning those positions to the programs that we believe in, that we have been pushing from the beginning? They are still relevant now. We're still saying we're going to push them forward. So instead of us now trying to create roles and that, why don't we align those program coordinators to the PBICT programs? Yes, and then we align the same thing down to province. I'm just asking a question, comrades.
Comrade Chalita.
With regards to that, Chief, I will totally agree because as a province we have this STEAMing, and if you take the science, it speaks to youth. All of those things are speaking to all the. This is why I've said when you ask, should we remove this? We just need to say maybe for STEAMing, for S in STEAMing, this is a sign to women. Then we can get more narrative on focusing on STEAMing. Then we say maybe for technology, this is a focus point for innovation. So then it means we speak to the whole STEAMy things that are there. And then we end it with entrepreneurship, bringing it to an end. You take the STEAMy, you take the science, you take the technology, you take the engineering, you take the arts, you take the maths, and then you assign it to each and every mobilizer. And then we're focusing, not that we can't integrate when deemed necessary. Then we take this whole situation and it ends with entrepreneurship. And then we speak to what Press are saying, digital economy.
So that's what I think what she's saying is that STEAMing people or leaders must exist must have a life cycle, not life cycle. No, what's the word now? Sorry, my English is failing me now. No, it's not. An ecosystem. It must be an ecosystem where everything connects in one program. All those STEAMy positions operate to achieve that objective.
No, it's like woman convener.
But comrade, you just amended the STEAMy thing. That was the previous leadership tenure. You are now in the digital economy. And by the way, the mobilizers do not implement definitions, they implement policy. That's why you implement internet for all, local is Moja. The mobilizers should work around the policy directive established by the policy conference, adopted by the NGC, implemented by the strategic objective of NEC, filtered down to implementable programs in the PECs. The provinces implement programs. They implement programs based on the directive from the policies of the organization. So it's still the same, STEAMy, in the programs of the organization. But we can't do it like that. Otherwise, we're now going to have, I'm scared it's going to create conflicting policy issues later. Because now you're going to say, what is entrepreneurship? You didn't define it. What does it mean? And you're going to sit in my NEC meetings telling me, yeah, but I don't have a terms of reference for this entrepreneurship. What did it mean? I couldn't perform. And that's what the mobilizers have been telling me. We are going to a NGC and there's no report of mobilizers. They've not done anything. And I'll say it, they're sitting next to me here. They didn't do anything because they are telling me, Chair, I don't have a terms of reference. There's a policy there. Shows you local is Moja, internet for all, school by day. It's there. The mobilizers are telling me, Chair, we can't develop programs because we don't understand what we must do. And this is something that also the policy must help us with, because we don't want a situation going forward where there's not clear or ambiguity of what they need to achieve and do. And that's what we're saying. Establish clear terms of reference, tell them what to do, have the KPIs there just as a support for them. And then they know, okay, in month one, I must maybe establish a program, do a training, do a awareness campaign, whatever, something like that. That's the guidance they want. They said, but how do we do this thing? What do we do for youth? I said, go put up a desk at the TVET and give an awareness about PBICT, you know. So yeah, that's what this seeks to address. We also agreed that we're going to make it 5 at national level and cascade 5 mobilizers to provincial level. Because it's going to make, if we do it the way in its current form, it's going to make the PEC big. You're going to have like a 20 or 30 man PEC. We don't want that. We don't want the structure too big. There's too many people in the meeting. If there are too many people in the meeting, there's a problem sometimes. So we're gonna streamline this one, and we'll come back to the conference with it. We just need let us take it back as the NWC. We'll streamline it and just give a workable way. Maybe merge something. I know Northwest suggested we merge student and youth. You disagreed, but currently in its current form, it's a bit too big to cascade it down to provinces, and that's why you have a situation where in a province you don't have a SMME mobilizer. You only have it at a national level. Whether it needs to exist in that form is another discussion. Whether the SME mobilizer must then himself develop for all provinces is maybe a different discussion, because now it means he then becomes the implementable agent, which we didn't want. We wanted provinces to do that. So let us take this back and work on it a little bit more, because it's just, it's going to make your structures way too big.
Comrades, can I make a practical example of what I'm trying to propose? Right? Forget those program coordinators, that 20 days. I just want to align it. I'm saying there are 5 programs of PBICT. There's 5 programs, and I've named them, right? Now, I want to make a practical example of the Internet for All program, right? Now, the Internet for All program is saying bridging the digital divide, which is coming from the Dubai Trade Port. That is where it was named, Internet for All. I phoned Larry. He was a deputy treasurer. What were you in? It's Larry in Free State before? Was the treasurer. I said to Larry, Larry, we made a mistake in the constitution. We have all of these mobilized. These people are not going to do anything. I want to bring you into the NEC, and I want you to drive the program as a special program under the Office of the President. We're going to call this the Internet for All. So Larry was a treasurer in Free State, but he was attending all NEC meetings, and we're having regular discussions. Then I said to Larry, Larry, this program specifically, we are going to build ISPs. That's all we're going to do. And I gave him a target. I said, Larry, I want 25 ISPs. Right now, you are the only one that's an ISP with Jara and us. There's only about 3 or 4 of us. I want you to build 25 ISPs under the Internet for All. That was the first thing I gave him. Larry came back to me. After 6 or 4 months, he kept on giving me the list. Praise, now I have 4, I have 5, I have 6. The list is growing. These ones have dropped. Larry came back to me and he said, Praise, I now have 25 ISPs. I said, Larry, that is not enough. Now, I need 50 ISPs. He went out, said, Praise, we need to do this and this. We went to the farm, Patisai. We started recruiting ISPs. Then there was people, we got people from Limpopo, from Northwest, from everywhere. We got ISP everywhere. And he said, Praise, now I have 50 ISPs. And I said, now, Larry, these 50 ISPs, what are they? He gave me the list. I said, Larry, this is not enough. I need you to give me ISPs that are women. Where's the women in here? Right? Then we went at the time during COVID and all those things. We said there's no one we couldn't find. I said, Che, you're the lawyer, you think you need to be an ISP. Zinzi, you're doing VoIP, I think you need to be an ISP. Larry, here's the women. Then there was others that joined in. You guys started a whole group and everything. And the 2 of them brought in these women in the ISP. Then I said to my province, Babu Mfundis, where are the women? Why is Larry running this program and there are no ISPs? Babu Mfundisi then had a women in ICT event where he was training a whole lot of women. They were crimping and doing all those things. Those that were interested, about 8 or 9, somewhere there. They came in to the program, and then now we have women ISPs. Larry, here's a new list from KZN. Can you add it to those ISPs? Then Larry adds it. I said, okay, Larry, now what I want us to do, I want to make all of these ISPs to be millionaires. Okay, Press how? I said, may I bring for you work? Right? Then Utumpatisa, UTG, we had a lot of meetings after a lot of discussions and that, because we knew what was coming. Like now it's in the papers, it's public knowledge that there's SA Connect 3 coming out. And we know that it's got how many hundreds of millions that is going to be there. So I said, Larry, now the SA Connect is going to come out. And I want these ISPs to get this tender. That was all that I said. Then Larry started all over and everything. And then, okay, there's a thing is out. I said, okay, luckily enough, there was GovTech. I said, okay, Larry, call all those ISPs of yours, let them attend GovTech. Those that couldn't were coming from different places. We said, no, pal. These are the people that I want CETA to sponsor, and these are the people that must be sponsored to come to those conferences. Then there was logistics. I said, Chair, I need money to pay for these people. I need money. I think Zinza also asked money from you as well. I asked all the people, I need money, I need money. That's when Party Pindi also they came there. All of those things cost money. Partisa, you gave money. TG, you gave money. We accommodated the people. We came in, we did a tender. 45 of those ISPs each got a tender of an average of 1.5 million. I said, okay, Larry, now you have achieved your program, but you owe me. Where's the young people? that are ISPs here. Then that is going around. Then I met that guy, Spill, who introduced me to Stace. And I said, Stace, when we had that NGC about making money, then he came and he said, the young people, they're sitting there at the back. They said, no, we want to be ISPs. We had this program. I said, Larry, we found our young people, finally. And then we had those young people. Then we came in. I said, Larry, there's the young people. And then next thing, I've never been to Alex. I was told Alex is a bad area. What. And then there I am in Alex. And hey, now I'm going around and driving. All of a sudden, we have these young people that are in this thing. They said, Babum, where are the young people in KZN that are in these ISPs? We've got Abo Melina, we've got all those people, and they came in, and now we have young ISPs. So, Larry has been a studio program mobilizer for Internet for All. He has brought in and developed SMMEs, which each now have work of 1.5 million. I won't do all of them there. He's brought in young people in the sector that were not in the sector before. He's brought in women in the sector that were not before. Then I said to him, now Larry, that you've got these people, how are they going to implement this thing here? If you don't have a structure. Larry, Patisai, about Dennis, about Sam. Then I said, Sam, I want you to organize these people, and this thing needs to be coordinated. And therefore, it was born Group 17, which is a group of professionals that are in the ISP space that have, Victor, measurable things. They have contracts. Our advocate here wrote contracts, and they have performance measure, how you behave, how do you talk, how do you dress, how do you walk, how do you implement a thing. We now have a professional grouping of people that install Sabat Wi-Fi for SA Connect in a particular way. So if I go to Siangoba now and I find an installation, it's going to be exactly the same as the one that is in Free State, in Velcom, in Kokstad, in Mutu, everywhere. It's exactly the same. Correct, Stace? And there's a lot of programs, and we engaged OEMs, we engaged Myro, we engaged everyone, and we said, we need you to train people and certify them as this. Now, Dennis, we have a thing that is called a certified ISP first that behaves in a particular way. We have certified installers that behave in a particular way. So now you have those professionals. Just on Friday, the other people were here. We then realized that we need to train the technicians. And we had another training. So now a professional body is where you have training, certifications, levels, grouping, standards, and everything that is there. So Larry, I must say that you have achieved what I've asked you to do, and you've mobilized everyone. So all I'm doing and all I'm proposing, I don't like talking. I don't know English. English, not my, I don't like talking. I don't like talking about things I haven't done. I don't like talking and thinking of things that I'm not going to do. And this Larry, we started this journey back then in 2017. And now we are sitting here today, and there's that success factor. So all I'm proposing is that if we are looking, Talita, and I like that thing to say, what are these people going to do? Now I'm saying to you, here I've given one person, Internet for All. And across, this is what I want you to do on this journey here. So those program mobilizers, I can give you one for, we are PBICT. I gave Dennis that. As you see, all this branding and everything comes on. As you see, Ubamufund is taking those pictures, your allies, these cameras that you see right now came into that. If you have to look at all the master classes that we've been having and that, I've given him that program as well, and he's done it. Right? I took the program of 4IR STEAMY the first time when we did that stand at GovTech, and I've run robotics programs and everything, and now I'll be starting a class on mechatronics, and it's funded by the mining SETA. So if you give and you have the right people with the right mindset, with the right passion that are in that thing. You give them a program to say, here's robotics, you must run it. You are an innovator. Innovate. If you have a problem, find a solution for it. That person will run with that program, come hell or high waters, and will deliver. So all I'm proposing is that instead of us having this woman mobilizers, we don't need that. Let us take the programs that we believe in, that we are passionate about, and have people that will implement those programs, and then they will cut across as the horizontals on those. Chair. That's what I'm trying to say, comrade. I think there was Hans, Chair, that had a better proposal.
No, thanks, Chair, and thanks for the background, the press. So, I mean, I'm also looking at the Constitution to say 8.6.4, section 11. It was still clear in terms of what are the roles of the mobilizers. How it came about, obviously, we had a bunch of NEC members before who were just additional members to the PAC of the NEC. And in the previous conference, we took that resolution to give them a meaning. Maybe the fault was we didn't think it that way of saying, this are specialized roles, right? So like Internet for All, you need a specialist like Larry to drive that kind of a value chain until it's also not a 1 day or a 5-year thing. It's been long coming since Dube. So it's almost 2 terms of your office to drive that program. That's how long it is. And to perfect it the way the president has explained. Now, you look at a professional mobilizer or a women mobilizer. Obviously, it is a specialized, and maybe that's how we need to treat it. That you need someone who is in that specialty to organize professionals and create that value chain that will benefit professionals. Like the way Larry created a program that benefited ISPs, internet service providers. SMME mobilizer or convener, Comrade Vic, right? So even though there are no terms of reference, because they don't have to be descriptive, then we'll be limiting you to say, this is what you need to do. You can't think outside the box. But 8.6.4 still empowered you to say the programs of the NEC. That's your starting point. Everything else is over and above. But what I'm picking up is that those are specialized roles. They can't just be me. If I don't know anything, comrades, I'm available. Because then you're going to have those limitations. We're not going to benefit from you. And if we go into a conference, comrade, there is no professional that is available to serve there, then what are you going to do? You are saving yourself to failure then. You are setting yourself to failure because it means that person might not be able to deliver that program in the next 5 years. And we're going to have the same issue we're having now. 5 years, we don't have programs from mobilizers as we speak.
Yeah.
So I'm giving that context so that maybe we think about it to say, either if it remains, then it must be specialized. If it goes, then we'll take the president model to say we'll invite those specialists as and when they are required. But if they stay, it can't be business as usual like we had now in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think there's a resolution on that, comrade. That concludes our inputs now. The rest is Comrade Makoba wanted to come in before I
want to ask a question or say something. I'm confused. I think there's a second. Let me, you can't, you'll be setting yourself for failure if you look at me and all the qualities that I have and say,
you want to draft a constitution around my qualities. Because the next person will not have the same qualities. All I'm trying to say is that, comrades, I think it's suicidal to put in a constitution such specifics. So you can have members of the NEC, say whatever you want, 8, 12, I don't know what was the number. Just say NEC members. Then you then empower the NEC to craft a program. You know, then to say in a document, I have this person that must run STEAM in a, no, I don't think that's going to, you must have an NEC members. Then it is going to be in an induction, whatever, strategy planning session, whatever, that you say, Makoba deal with A, Gift deal with D. And then from there onwards, you then have that responsibility to deal with those things. But it's a bit of a challenge if, as SG is saying, what if you elect an NEC that does not have these qualities that you put on black and white? So the best thing for the document, there should be a separation between a document and the program, a governing document and the program. The governing document must be able to allow you to run a program by giving you a structure to run a program. And then you go into a strategic planning and say, this person can deal with A, this person can deal with D. And then you give those, because at the end of the day, even those comrades must account to the Office of the Secretary General on what they do on daily basis on that particular task that they are giving. So I think maybe it's a bit suicidal if you do those things. You might go to a situation that the ST is described, that sometimes you get stuck and don't know what to do, because the Constitution is saying you must have this person and in this room, because there is a difference between leading and doing. You know? So I can lead. You know, me, the only thing I know about computers is to switch it on. You know? But, you know, you see what I mean? So a person can be given a task to lead a particular program, and then, as the president has said, then you draw in people that have got the skills to assist you in doing that deed. All you have to do is to coordinate.
So I understand patient goes over 10.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was saying. Patient goes over 10.
Hello, SG is not dialogue. You are missing this one. I'm still the chair. Still the chair, not done yet. We have one more meeting only. And you'll never see this.
Through you, Chair. As we should. Thanks, Chair. Looking at what the room is talking about, when we're looking at the confusion of the role and the leader in place of that particular office, it could potentially raise a point where maybe what we currently have as programs actually in the offices have now the mobilizers aligned to that program. However they're going to be named, because we know that these programs have a success factor and they have longevity. Because if we look at them as a program can end and begin, meaning that it begins at the point of concept, and once it's implemented, it's done. Then the program is done. But however, the Pbict programs are in ubiquity. They continuously go, they never die. So however, those mobilizers kind of get repurposed to align to that, and even the naming of the mobilizer aligned to that program, I think that will have a better success, because our programs are not events that end at beginning, they're in perpetuity. And if we accept that these are going to lead us to the next 20 years, these particular items of Internet for All, is Internet for All going to have the longevity for 20 years? Is Localist Moja, in terms of creating innovation, 4IR, STEAMI, having communication and visual presence, PR, pushing the idea of Pbict, do these have longevity? And if the answer is yes, then we can potentially look at dressing up the mobilizers then to be people who will be able to lead those things because they fit into our ideology and they fit into what we're really trying to do in terms of transforming the thing. And the nice thing with that is that no matter what it is, whether it's a localist module, we're looking at creating of things. Professionals, women, youth, students can all still be addressed within those things, because now they're not specific to gender, because we're not dealing with the gender crisis, we're dealing with access and ownership and involvement thing. So that every one of these things that we now identify as programs that the STEAMI mobilizers could potentially do, they'll all still cover what the current ones are doing also without labeling them youth, students and things. So localist module must have youth professional students all the way down. Internet for All must have all of that stuff as per the example that the president has done, because that has shown that it has longevity and it's shown that it has that involvement structure that we're trying to achieve as an organization. I think that if we redress it that way there as a proposal to go to NGC, it may have staying power and no confusion, because right now the STEAMI program, those programs of Pbict are very clear, they're easy to get behind also, and they help us to be involved on all levels, from veterans to new entries. And we've always seen the success and that. Thanks.
Thank you very much, comrades. That concludes the items of the amendments to the Constitution. We are taking that for recommendation to the NGC. I must just go and refine stuff, and I couldn't do it here. It's too much talking. So I'll go and sit quietly and just do the grammar. We'll check all those things. Is it on? I'm closing the item.
Yeah, but I'm just saying on that.
Are you coming in on which one?
The one that yes, you
I've closed the item.
No, I'm just.
Are you
when
adding?
When we go and discuss, yes, Chair. I'm not bringing something.
Okay.
Now, it should be clear then to say how many members of the NEC. Like I say, for an example, if we say there would be 10 NEC members elected, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe 6 additional members, and then those programs therefore allocated along these members that are elected in the NEC. So it should be clear to say how many NEC members that should be elected from the conference. Maybe 5 officials and then 6 or 7 additional.
So look, our role is to give the policy position and the principle approach. The leadership that is elected there will determine how it wants to delegate the functions to those members, because we don't know who they are. So whoever comes in, the new NEC will sit and say, okay, we've got ISP here, we've got a professional, we've got a professor, and they will then decide on their own. We can't prescribe that specific, but what we can do is the number, that's fine, and that's what we'll do. We'll give them a principal position, and then it will give them the freedom to lead how they want to structure themselves. So that's what we are saying. That's why we're removing all those things, because we don't want to dictate to the new structure. They'll decide who does the SMME, who does the women, who. So that's what I'm saying. I have to just go and refine it and fix the numbering and make sure that that's aligned. Comrade Pbict?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chair. I was saying to the Chair, I'm a mobilizer. I don't know if other mobilizers have spoken.
The only one is.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have made sense to close it without mobilizers saying something. So thank you, Chair. So I've listened to everyone. Everyone's spoken. I did this the last time as well. I let everyone speak, and then I come in as a mobilizer in that position. So what everyone has contributed, including President Makova, SG, everyone, if you put it all together, we'll somehow realize that everyone is talking into the same direction, which eventually means that the mobilizers remains. But the reason why certain things were happening in a particular way is the execution of it. Okay? We were mentioning ecosystem earlier on. That's what you were trying to define. That's exactly what President did with Larry, but Larry was one mobilizer. Instead of using the mobilizers to mobilize and him to activate and put the practical work in place and push the thing in his profession. So if you have that ecosystem, like you've tried tried to explain. Instead of asking Larry, where's the youth, the mobilizer was supposed to ask, bring the youth. The woman, where's the woman? Instead of asking him, the woman mobilizer must be asked, bring the youth here. Because there's a central point here, there's a project headed by Larry that is to do with ISPs. You can't be sending Larry around to look for women, look for youth. It's overburdening when you have these other guys around. So when you talk about an ecosystem, President, that is what we're referring to. So it's the thinking out of the mobilizers is brilliant. That's why it should stay there. But in the execution, we're still learning. Remember, someone said, I think it's the SG that said, the president said, no, we put this there because we wanted to try it out. It was a good idea also to do that. Everything that has happened with Larry proved that, yes, it's possible. Because he now was just overburdened. That was the only thing. It was just supposed to have been, redirected. Say, you bring the woman, that mobilizer must bring. And so that is what's critical. So that is what's critical when also the SG is talking about specialization. Because now, if Microsoft comes up and says, we've got 500 million, we've got 500 million for SMMEs, for software development. Chair can't call Larry to say, come get this thing going for us. Larry is going to say, what do I know about software development? I know he's an engineer as well. He touch on software. Yes, so does that. Someone else might say, but no, bring Victor. He's already in Microsoft. He's a Microsoft AI cloud partner. He's already understands the whole ecosystem there. So bring him in. Now, when I come in, I don't want to be asked, where's the women? I'll say, no, where's the woman mobilizer? Bring. But I will steer the project. And that is what I think when I'm saying that we're all speaking the same direction, the same thing. It's just that the execution, was but not disorganized. It wasn't disorganized. It was just focused because we had to get this thing up and running and done. And which, like Makoba said, our president, when he wants things done, it must get done. And that is what we're dealing with.
Thank you, Comrade Pbict. I didn't ask for the mobilizers to justify why they didn't do anything. Coming with a long story here. Comrades, don't come and respond to issues inside of my meeting. I was making a statement from my office to say I have no report. I didn't ask that you must now tell me why there's no report because of the long things you mentioned. I'm saying that, comrades, I need an input to my constitution. What am I putting there? Now the mobilizer wants to tell me why he couldn't perform, why the women must come in. The president invoked his power as the presiding officer to bring in Comrade Larry. Rightfully, that SG says, Comrade Larry was never part of the NEC. He wasn't there. So us having a position like a SMME or whatever mobilizer, that position couldn't work. And then Larry had to be brought in as a specialist type of thing. That's why SG was making that whole, that's who we are. So you can't come in, you in policy, you're finishing your term. I don't know how to bring you back, what's going on. But the mobilizers couldn't work. Even, this is provinces also. Y'all didn't work. Y'all didn't deliver. Y'all didn't deliver. Now Pbict coming here, long story. No, comrades, let's close this thing.
Right,
in the interest of time, we're done, comrades.
Yeah, Chair, can I come in on this one here, Chair?
Yeah.
So, Comrade Tulam, I'm going to speak to you because the people, they're not listening to me, you see. I've just presented something that has been tried, tested, worked. In the presence of something that is existing, that is written down on the code, that didn't work. There was a woman mobilizer. I went to look for them, they were not there. There was a SMME mobilizer by the name of Victor. He came to my office there at Point Waterfront. I spoke to him for one day, and after that, I said, Victor, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do, like this. We drew it up on the board and everything. And that was it, it ended there. I went to the professional mobilizer, which is Sam, and I said, Sam, you're going to run with these people here. You see? What I'm giving you something that works. That if you align in your constitution. If you align those program coordinators to the PBICT programs, number one, you're going to have a report at the end of the year to say that on the program of 4IR STEMI, this is what happened. Victor made a very good example to say that if Microsoft comes in and says programming, you go to the 4IR STEMI program coordinator and say, listen, this is on you. This is about software development. Bring in the youth, they want students, they want females, they want professionals, they want this, they want this. That's what you do.
Yeah.
When a program comes in, there is no program that will come into PBICT that doesn't have a home in the programs of the PBICT.
Yeah.
They all have a home.
Yeah.
So once again, comrades, for the last time, consider aligning those positions, or let me rather say having a coordinator in the NEC and the PEC that is aligned to the program of the PBICT. And those program coordinators must have programs, and in there, they must ensure that there's youth involved, there's women involved.
Yes.
You create professionals in that particular thing. There's SMMEs that are involved. There's academics that are involved. There's students that are involved. There's grannies that are involved in there. You leave no one behind. That is what you do. We already know, we've already defined. If I have to ask DSG what is Internet for All and how have we defined, he's already defined it. Number two, when we go to conference and you want to have someone that is for our STEMI, there's an engineer over there that is already an engineer and a professional and is already doing programs in that. Go and do your work. Well, if you're going to put people there because you want your province to be represented, because you want your friend to be there, because you want this, it's not going to work. Have people that are already in there. PBICT has people. When I walk around there, Victor, I know Victor, he's in software development. I know what Larry is, I know Patisai is in the digital space on television. That I know what Comrade Dennis is in, I know I know what everyone is. Just in this room alone, there is Comrade Africa, there is in agriculture. There's everyone that is in everything. So we start to mobilize and put those resources together. Now, if you put leaders and you through the eye of the needle and you put a leader like me to run a 4IR STEMI project, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the ecosystem, Victor. And the ecosystem is going to be such that I say, okay, in the agriculture space, I need someone that's in agriculture because we're going to drive e-agriculture.
Yeah.
I need someone that is dealing with IoT in that space. We are going to focus on smart cities. And that's a program we're going to run. I need someone that knows municipalities and how they operate in that. We are going to close the gap on the future skills. I need someone that is going to drive and on the future skills. Do you see that what's happening? But if you choose someone that you want because you looked around, hey, as long as my province is there, there's a person that knows nothing, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem policy. I said, whatever policy position we take here and whatever directive we make influences how we're going to think. So once you say 4IR STEAM and you come to that, you need to walk around and say, Talita, who is driving, who's the STEAM program in your province? Because we need someone that is there. Who is, look rather and get the cream of PBICT to be the ones that are there and driving those programs. That is what I'm trying to say, Comrade Sabata. Otherwise, then, it means you do not believe in your programs. Then who's going to implement those programs? Take your programs and create those positions into that. Take out you remove all of those, by the programs, they remove all of them, that's what I'm saying. And you have, you call them it's program coordinators. And you have one for 4IR STEAMing specific, and there must be a person that will drive that, so that you get the right person. If you're going to leave that to say, let's have additional members and put people in there, you're going to have people that know nothing about that thing, Patisai. And they won't be confused, they won't even know where to begin. Or where to start. You will you put an innovator into a position that hasn't innovated anything, that doesn't understand the process of going there.
Seven
That's a current
at
challenge,
national.
comrade.
Yeah.
7 at national, 4 at provincial level.
Each program, what they are saying is that we must copy and paste. So at national, comrades, you have a coordinator, program coordinator for 4IR STEAMing, program coordinator for Internet for All, program coordinator for local is Moja, program coordinator for this and that and that. The one that is doing for program coordinator for local is Moja is going to read and understand the documents and what we have been saying here. And further advance it. We have been saying that we want to produce locally, Linux, open source, all of those things. The one that is doing school by day, varsity by night, we have COSAS that is fully giving us problems in the room. You go to them and you go to the schools and you start speaking to all the schools. And you say to the schools, this is what we're doing, we've done it. There's Orient Heights, how many schools? We have about 10 schools in KZN that we've already done, that have produced mechatronics. They've produced cybersecurity. They've produced so many things. So what is the problem, comrades? These things work. Have the right people going in there. That is the proposal, Comrade Sabat.
The first one, internet, local, school by day. That's the first one.
No, you'll get them in there.
Gatekeepers must fall.
What's that?
Yeah, the gatekeepers must fall.
Gatekeepers must fall.
Digital economy.
That's not a new.
Yeah, I think
there was six.
So, Chair, that's the proposal that we're going to have, comrades, and I think the Chair. See you spending.
Are you going to do the rules? Comrades, that concludes the item of the amendments. We'll go work on it as the drafting committee, and we'll come back with a proper draft, and we'll bring it to the conference for the adoption to happen. That will be in May. Thank you very much for your input, comrades.
Section 12.
Oh, the dissolution. The Free State proposes that, Comrade Makoba, we remove the dissolution section because they believe that the organization should never dissolve. Should never, ever. It will only dissolve when there's no black people in the country. Left. When the last black person dies, then the Pbict ceases to exist. But they don't want a dissolution section. Please guide us on that one.
Africa's confused.
Wait.
It says also the NGC. So you should check the first line. They said the NGC
can dissolve.
So we were looking into that and say, hey, what if we have an NGC that is got, I don't know. Infiltration. I don't want to say.
A move of the motion of dissolution during the NGC shall only be effected if the motion is duly debated and carried by 3/4 of registered members, provided that the proposal to move such a motion shall have been included. In the event of dissolution and after settlement of liabilities, the NGC shall appoint a caretaker committee to dispose of assets of the Pbict in a manner determined by the NGC.
You see, there's the GNU right there. It's giving power for the GNU to come in.
If I may ask, Chair, to you as a lawyer, a constitution without a dissolution clause, can it pass a test of time?
No,
it can't. It's a constitutional requirement, because you must be able to, when you write a constitution, you must be able to cater for any unforeseen circumstances. If it were to rise, there must be something that governs it. If it were to rise, there must be something that governs how you deal with it. So you cannot have it just because you are
Want to avoid it.
you want to avoid it. As I was saying with the issue of portfolios, what if you achieve the program and say you've come to a level where you've achieved this particular program, but in your constitution you now have a person that is running that program that we have achieved. You understand? So the constitution must be allowed to say, okay, for example, if the constitution says program coordinate and ends there, it means we can change a program and give you another program. Then to say I'm a program coordinator of door to door. What if the ANC doesn't need to have door to door anymore? Because of the ICT sector has developed many strategies. Now I can't be the constitution can't say to me I'm a coordinator of something that is extinct, that is no longer there. So the governing document must be able to allow. That's what I'm saying. If it were to rise, because things happen in the future, if it were to rise that we need to dissolve, something must govern it. But we must not say we are working towards dissolution. That's not it. It's that this is a governing document. It must be able to cater for every eventuality.
Makes 100% sense.
Yeah, no, also remember you joined this voluntarily. I know when now comrades take the ANC to court and argue the contractual provision. The court is clear that you join the organization voluntarily. It's a contractual relationship that exists. In a contract, there needs to be a termination clause for both parties. If I want to leave this thing, there must be a way for me. If you want to leave me, there must be a way. And if the organization itself wants to either redefine or dissolve itself, there must be a way out. There must be you must have those provisions. So you can't have a contract that doesn't deal with, like any eventuality. Not saying it will happen, but it needs to be there just for everyone to know there is a way out.
We're not a mafia.
Yeah, we're not a mafia. So we've dealt with that. Comrade SG is going to cover the logistics of the National General Conference, venue, date, how we're going to get ourselves there. He's also going to go into some of the rules there that we've actually already covered. And then we are going to close the conference, comrade, so that all of us can travel back safely when it's still light and during the day. So, Comrade SG, please come in and deal with the second last item.
Thank you, Chair. Comrades, I'm just going to be quick because time is not on our side. So there's been National Executive Committee meetings prior to this. So this is not me. I'm communicating the decisions of the National Executive Committee, Comrade Mako. So, comrades, as you know, our term of office expiring on the 20th of May. So the decision that the NEC took was that we're going to have a conference on the 20th. So after 20th of May, the conference starts basically. But on the 24th, yes, on the 24th of May, the conference will be hosted in KZN. Patwes Kwama already confirmed the venue, but we'll share the logistics. But it's in KZN, in the middle of the mountains somewhere. So that is done. Once that notice goes out, so my idea will be the SGO will sit and share that notice. From the arrangement point of view, there is a planning committee or task team that has been appointed by the NWC to oversee the process of the NGC or the conference, and that committee is led by Comrade Treasurer General Welcome to ensure that the venue is in good state. And then when it comes to the logistics, comrade, the same principle that applies here will apply again. Comrades need to get themselves to the venue. So meaning the provincial treasurers need to fundraise to ensure that they are there, their delegates are there. And then the same rules of the NGC will apply, which I'm going to go just to summarize them a little bit so that we are all understanding what are the rules of the conference, what guide us in terms of us going into this conference. So I've highlighted those. 8.5 of the Constitution deals with the National General Council. And it obviously tells us that it's the highest decision-making body that we all know that it is. 8.52 says that NGC can be convened no later than 60 days after the term of office, but we're not going to wait for 80 days. 60. Yes, so we're waiting only 2 days. That's the... yeah, it ends today. Tomorrow we are going to conference. We are no longer... We don't want to overstay, comrade. We want to hand over this swift movement into capable hands. 8.5.3 deals with the voting delegates. I know that now the Treasurer General story hasn't been incorporated into this, so the same will still apply. The National Executive Committee are still the voting delegates, the provincial chairpersons, the provincial secretaries, and then the coordinators of student programs as well. And then the provincial delegate shall be allocated to members in good standing. Representation of provincial delegates of NGC shall be allocated proportionally. So the NEC will have to work on that in terms of proportionalities. In the past, we used the EPGMs or PGMs. So the more numbers you have in your PGM, the more delegates you'll have to go into the National General Council. And then it speaks about the NEC may convene this, and that's why we're doing it. We have also non-voting delegates, like our guest, Comrade Tulas, your BATF, all the medias and the representatives. So don't be surprised when you see those people in the NGC, and also honorary members. A quorum. The NGC can only be convened if there is 5 or more provinces that have active provincial structures. So that's like 50% of that, but 5 of 9, right? So we have only 9 provinces. So we need 5 of those or more. The ceiling of the conference shall be set by the NEC. The previous NGC, our ceiling was 100. So we'll see, obviously, in terms of the logistics and how we set the ceiling as the NEC, because they have those powers to do that. For NGC to correct, there must be 51% or more of the expected voting delegates. So after we set the ceiling, 51% of that ceiling needs to be available for that sitting to correct. And then 8.5.6, which is the last section, deals with the powers of the National General Conference. It will decide and determine the policy, which is what we're doing now, and adopt the Constitution. Receive and discuss reports from the NEC. So you can't have an NEC that is going without a report. You guys must ask for those reports. Which shall also include the presidential address, the Secretary General report, which shall include a report on the work and activities of Pbict regarding the conveners and everything else. This or that conference will have the right and the power to review, ratify, alter, rescind any decision taken by any constituent structure, committees or officials of Pbict. That's how powerful that conference is. That conference will also elect the president, the deputy president, the national chair, the secretary general, the deputy secretary general, the treasurer general, deputy treasurer general, which I don't think there is that anymore, additional members as well. Point F, which is the last part, the NGC has the powers to amend the Constitution. I think it's clear. Comrades, those are the rules. I don't want to also waste your time, but if you want to refer, you have to go into the Constitution and look at those rules. I think I've communicated everything, logistics, the rules of the conference, I don't know if we need to discuss that or.
We're fine.
Okay.
The rules are the rules. You can't discuss them. They must be followed. Thank you very much, SG. Before we adjourn, Comrade Tula, we would like you to please give a word of support to the conference. I would have brought you in yesterday, but you arrived today. You're going to please lead us into a word of support for the conference as we close, and then the President will make his closing remarks, and then I will move to adjourn the session. Thank you so much. Comrade Tula, you can come in. What is it?
Technology. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, comrades. Good afternoon, comrades. I was asleep. Yeah. No, firstly, thank you very much for the invite. For us now who are oldies, this gives us hope of the future. I also like the theme of the conference. I must just say that fortunately that Pbict is here. I know my organization is really bleeding, probably bleeding to death now, you know. So we need really to support this organization in every way, in every aspect. And there's one thing that I've just noticed if you look into what is happening around the political landscape, you'll see that the theme now is really saying, let the darkies unite. That's really the theme. So every darkie is converging to fight towards one direction. And I really appreciate this. And Sibonge, both leadership that is here for keeping the light on. But I also wanted to comment, you know, on the issue of the outgoing leadership. We've just lost one giant in terms of PITF, Comrade Colin Forey. May his soul rest in peace. But comrades, it's important that we get the role of people that are outgoing because there's massive that we have actually lost. And you only realize now, shit, that person could have parted the skill, the knowledge, and everything that he has. So I will really appeal in your thinking that there should be a structured way of these comrades to contribute. They mustn't feel, you know, there's this thing once the leadership changes. There's this thing, especially for the young ones. Why are they still here? What do they want? We don't want any oversight, that type of story. So let's have some structured way of how do we carry on getting the knowledge and the wisdom from the old guards because they've got that. And once they've gone, they are gone. With those few words, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Tula, for those words. The conference has noted. I'll take it to NGC and we'll resolve there finally. Perhaps comrades have then reflected differently by then. So thank you so much for that reflection, Comrade Tula, and for your time. We appreciate it. Press, as the presiding officer, you need to give us the command letter and the way forward, and then I'll close the session.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I think Chair was in and out on a lot of things, so I may have missed a lot in this conference. I tried following on streaming, but yeah, streaming in 4K. Thank you very much for that. But Chair, I think that let me ask the President, the TG, to do the closing remarks on my behalf. I think he was here all the time, and I had asked him to play my part in the absence of my DP. Thank you, TG.
Are you passing the baton?
No, the mic.
Amandla comrades. Amandla comrades. Thank you very much.
comrades, leadership, to this successful conference. I personally thank you for your commitment, dedication of your time, the under-resourced challenges that we have. We managed to come together, make this conference successful. Once again, I appeal for this same commitment going forward towards the NGC, so that we, the existing current executive, we get a great send-off for what we have done, and also to purely outline the legacy of what we have left. Apparently, the 45 millionaires will appreciate us when we are gone for the job that we have done in the past term. So we're looking forward to the next administration. Let's make their role conducive. Let's come prepared, resourceful, and like we said, logistically, we from the TGO's office are going to make accommodation available for everyone, catering and everything. We just need this commitment of bringing yourself into the conference. It will be purely communicated, the venues that we will use. I think we are expecting guests, visitors, even media. I think for the first time we might have a brand sponsor that can come sponsor the event. We are talking to potential partners that will work with them going forward. Amandla.
Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you to all of you who came today and for your time. To the guests, we appreciate you. We'll see each other again in May. The conference adjourns at 13:12 p.m. Thank you so much. Bye.
President, you see now what you're doing. I'm getting hooked here right there.
You don't want that.